us when I say, you. Yeah. That is scary and possibly drunk new border czar. What's his name?
Thom
Holman?
Holman?
Thom Holman. Yeah. Yeah.
He sounds drunk to me.
Yeah, maybe Larry
Just a
Kudlow
little.
will join the administration too, and then we can get those valuable minerals from Greenland.
And he
Well,
definitely cannot say definitively cannot say definitively.
Yeah. Well, you can't with that much vodka.
And
But
Jean Pirro.
The good news is then we'll all be drunk too. So his entire administration will be drunk.
It's mimosa time, right?
They got a lot of valuable minerals.
So the puppy killer is also now going to be the head of the Department of Homeland Security. Kristi Noem. Sean is going to be the puppy
and goat killer.
So that'll make the mass deportations even more efficient because they will just shoot everybody's pets in the face while they're deporting. Oh, and Thom Holman is previously on tape. I don't know if we have that on 60 Minutes saying, they asked, how are you going to, not do family separation again? He's like, well, we'll just deport whole families.
And he lied to Sean Hannity about that yesterday.
Right. And they said, oh, you mean even the legal? And he's like, yes. Mm-hmm. Right. So, hey, Latino men who voted for Trump. I'm wearing my woke t-shirt. Who wants a little bit of woke right now? Hey, MAGA guys, when your daughters are bleeding out in parking lots and stuff, anybody up for a little bit of woke? No? Okay. When, by the way, they've already started layoffs at Nissan because the tariffs coming.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying I'm not happy. I'm just I'm drunk. Frankly, I'm drunk. I just need to be up front.
Well, you were up at 2.
I did get a mimosa this weekend. I went for a bike ride with my friend Steve. We went to and she brought it, and I'm like, oh, after my own heart, very light on the orange juice. She goes, yeah, orange juice is just, I'm like, yeah, it's just a way to make you feel like you're not drinking in the morning, right?
Yeah, like the tomato juice in a Bloody Mary.
Yes, it's vegetables. It's healthy.
Yeah, it's a little celery. It's a salad.
Okay, Jody. Hi. Hey, Sean Comiskey's here filling in for Chris Lavoie. He'll be back
Who
tomorrow.
had almost a heart attack this morning.
Oh, yeah, we had technical problems. Because you know what? No, a lot of stress is really good right now because we're not on... I'm going to try to... I've gotten more mail than I've ever gotten in my entire life. I'm going to try to get to everybody because a lot of people have a lot to share and they can't always make it on the phone lines or they're nervous. And trust me, whatever you're going through, me too. All of us. Wherever you are in your timeline. Drunk, sad, scared, angry. Right there with you. It's like a pie wheel every day.
Yes,
isn't
it
it?
is.
Sad. Puppy killer.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
She is.
And who else? Oh, Baby Goebbels.
Yes.
So whoever bad you thought this is going to be,
it's worse.
It's going to be worse.
It's worse.
Stephen Miller, Baby Goebbels, is going to be in
Deputy Chief of Staff.
The borders are along with that guy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Wow. We are very quickly in the Find Out section of the Around program, aren't we? We have Charlie Pierce and JoJo from Jurors for hour 3. And then JoJo and Spicy Jody and I are doing a very special uncensored happy hour today just for you. Because is there enough swearing to get through this? I don't really think so.
I don't think so.
JoJo and I decided we need to replicate our phone conversations for our audience. Okay. Anyone else getting tired of every bolt opinion about what happened and blaming people? Oh, my God. Oh, you know what I just instituted? I forgot to tell you this. You know what I've instituted? This is a worst take stack. These are the worst possible takes on the election.
You can just shred them if you'd like.
I just have to... I understand. Thank you for people saying they're not listening to anybody but me. I think that's a good plan. Because I'm just like... La, 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 la. First of all, can I just say what I've been saying? And thank you, Lawrence O'Donnell, who is also one of my only saving graces. Stop with the landslide. They haven't even finished counting votes in California. Remember, that's
or Pennsylvania, too.
Part of where when people are like, where'd all these millions of votes go? Pennsylvania and California are not done. She's going to probably lose by 1.5 points.
If that much.
So just off. And when you get to the top of off mountain, just continue off forever. Thank you, Sean. Or you can just have the shut up cannon loaded, just permanently. Yes, Lawrence.
Shut the up. Yeah. Shut all the way up until you reach the top of Shut Mountain where there are no more ups to shut.
We know that's from Grace and Frankie. That's not the one we're looking for.
Yes, please stop sending us that.
Okay.
Miriam Flynn. She's brilliant.
Sean, I feel that Carnation Instant Bitch is going to be on the menu every morning. I'll try to dial it back. Maybe not.
Don't.
Okay. Lawrence O'Donnell called BS on the idea that Trump defeated Harris in a landslide and said you should stop listening to anybody who does. He said ballots received in the mail tomorrow will be counted in California, so there are literally millions of ballots yet to be counted in this country, including the state of Pennsylvania, where thousands of votes remain to be counted. Republicans will probably have 52 senators next year, or 53, depends on Pennsylvania, the Bob Casey race.
Right.
Democrats will probably have 47 or 48. If Bob Casey wins. We still don't know which party will control the House of Representatives. We do know it will be very close. As of tonight, Republicans have 214, Democrats 205, 16 seats to be decided. Trump currently has 50.2% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 48.1%, but that margin will narrow after all of these
Yes, it
votes
will.
are counted. So 1% of the vote less than Donald Trump right now, Lawrence says. Right now, she is at 2% less than Donald Trump. I think, like we say, it's going to end up being something just over 1%.
Yeah.
So shut the up with everything that's wrong with Democrats and, oh, they're so out of touch and, oh, what do they need to do? And, oh, they're so bad. I'm sorry, who? Donald Trump is just like you and Elon Musk? No, he's not. Oh, my God. Really? They're in touch with the common man. I'm
AOC's
sorry.
people scare me. Her voters.
The vote, yeah. I mean, there's so much that does not make sense in this election and, people voting against their own self-interest that it's okay. Anyway, he went on to say, Lawrence went on to finish, we've seen landslides in this country. They do not look like this. Bill Clinton, even with Perot in the race,
Yeah.
won 49.2% of the vote to Bob Dole's 40.1%. Reagan, as we know, in 84, won 49 states. Mondale only won Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Daddy and Gold. Thank you, my father in Goldwater. Thank you, Walter Mondale, for that. My dad in Goldwater only won.
lost
They
less.
only won 6 states, which is 5 more than Walter Mondale. But he beat Mondale by 18 points. That's a landslide. So, we're still a very evenly divided country. And that goes to everybody's point that this is stop making, letting them make you feel like we're so disastrously wrong and out of touch and we lost this enormous election. See, they're even annoying. James Carville's annoying them. Okay. Hang on.
I know, they're kissing.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, well, that's what the next 4 years are going to be like. Biting each other's heads off and then going, I'm sorry. But I can't anymore. I knew that any headline that started with Bill Maher reacts was going to make my
Oh
head
my
explode.
God, do not read. I should
This
not
is-
have sent that to you.
This is my worst takes.
Actually, you sent that
stack.
to me. I did
Yes,
not send
I
that
know.
to you.
Bill Maher wants the Democratic Party to do some serious reflecting.
Yeah, F you.
Really? So we have to be as racist and sexist and misogynistic as Donald Trump, awful and despicable?
Apparently.
That's what makes us not MAGA. Okay, I can't. He said, my message to the losers, look in the mirror. And then Maher said no because the audience was just stone silence. This is what I keep saying. Jimmy Kimmel, I think, and Colbert, SNL, who else am I thinking of? Seth Meyers, on and on, they're this funnier than ever. And this is why I'm wearing my woke shirt. Because are they woke? It just means don't be a D to people that are different than you. They don't punch down.
Nope.
As I was saying, no one I know watches Bill Maher anymore because he's gotten to be a cranky Republican. That it's just everybody's in line with their own agenda. And, his is like trying to be both sides do it and beat up on Democrats too. No. Anyway, this is what he said. This country has had enough of the anti-common sense woke bull. Oh, my God. Where's my shut up cannon? Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I wish you could just shut your big yapper!
First of all, and someone's like, oh, it's because they don't talk like real people, Democrat, they Latinx. I don't know anyone that uses the term Latinx. Do you?
No.
I don't.
And Kamala Harris never did.
No.
Neither did Tim Walz.
Bill Maher then mocked Joy Reid for praising Harris's campaign. Oh, off. Oh my goodness. I'm going to change this to my off stack. All this week was people who said, oh, she ran a flawless campaign. How ridiculous. Oh, it's sexism. It's racism.
It is.
This is an old playbook. America's perfectly willing to elect a woman. They just didn't like the last two that were put up. Oh, my God.
The first one won the popular vote. So.
Oh, my God. Please, for the love of God. Really? People sending text to black people telling them where to pick cotton, and Nick Fuentes saying your body, my choice, and them gloating and taunting us left and right. Really?
Nick Fuentes moved back in with his mommy
Yes, I saw that. Good for him.
because he's afraid.
Because he's a big macho man.
He's back in the basement.
Because that's the other take, Jody, is, men just didn't feel heard and seen. And Donald Trump helps them feel seen because they've had such a long, I'm sorry, I probably need this. They've had such a long,
difficult.
sad, difficult route in this country, white men.
Yes.
Oh, God, I just really seriously think I'm going to...
I just think I'm gonna buy.
Oh, James Carville, come on down and worst take stack. He said Kamala Harris' failed campaign is reducible to her one answer on The View.
No.
When she was asked.
No.
Yeah, because all those young guys to watch The View.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
No.
Is it possible for one person to hate this many people and not explode? I apologize.
No, it's not,
I
actually.
apologize, Sean, for exposing the baby you to all this vitriol. To her one answer on The View when asked what she would have done differently than President Biden. Are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? You don't think that it is massive disinformation that enabled Trump to, because of the mainstream media and the right-wing ecosphere, win on a complete wall of easily provable lies? Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. And again, as we keep saying, Jody, how is she going to, the Democratic base, many of us were already pissed about what they did to Biden and how they did it.
Yep.
And, I loved Joe Biden. Really? She should have said F Joe Biden. That should have been her campaign.
No. When she actually did try to walk away from him, I'm like, please don't do that. Please don't do that.
When Carville said, when 65% of registered voters say the country's on the wrong track, he said, when we go back and history unearths us, it's going to be right there on The View. The most devastating answer that she just said, I can't think of anything right this how I'm going to. First of all, he is the most provably successful
Yes.
administration in history, provably so. I get that message clearly didn't get out, but obviously we've been talking about a number of reasons why.
Right.
But give me a break on this. Bernie Sanders, you're also in the worst takes. What did he say? The Democrat. Oh, it should come as no great surprise. The Democratic Party, which has abandoned the working class, the working class has abandoned that. Oh my God! I get that clearly the message didn't get out, but everything Biden-Harris administration did was to help working people. CHIPS
he was
Act,
on a union
infrastructure,
strike line.
Thank you. I mean, you can't say the Democrats don't have policies. Donald Trump doesn't have any. Nope. In fact, his are going to make things inexorably worse for working people. But I'm sorry, Bernie was not helpful in 2016, and here he comes again to bash Democrats. That's the last thing we need right now. Stop doing Russia's work, where we're, now we're all infighting, instead of looking at the actual threat. Our friend DNC chair Jamie Harrison fired back at Bernie Sanders. He said, this is straight up BS. Biden was the most pro-worker president of my lifetime, saved union pensions, created millions of good-paying jobs, even marched in a picket line. Some of the vice president's plans would have fundamentally transformed the quality of life and closed the racial wealth gap for working people across this country, from the child tax credits to $25,000 for a down payment on a house to Medicare covering the cost of senior care in their homes. There are a lot of post-election takes, and this one ain't a good one.
Thank you,
Jamie. It's not that I don't agree with Bernie on a lot. You voted for him in the primary. But I just feel like a lot of these takes are not helping.
No.
It's people are looking at their own personal agenda and and I get it. People can accuse me too, because talking about progressive infrastructure, but I'm sorry. Lies are how they're echoed is because again, what did someone say yesterday, Jody? It's not the economy, it's how people perceive the economy.
It was Michael Tomasky. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. All right. God, I've almost made myself pass out in the first segment. Okay. I'm going to need some backup. Charlie Pierce and JoJo from Jurors will be here. I'll be down here on the sack of hammers.
that a month ago came out and said, Trump keeps talking about how he had the greatest economy ever. He inherited that from me. He just continued what was happening. And I was the one who cleaned it up. And then he wrecked it in his last year. When he said that, I took the clip and I just posted one line, which is, I've been waiting during this whole campaign for somebody to say that. And he's the first one who said it a month out. Why is that the case? Why hasn't anyone else made this argument? That tweet, all I said was one line. I've been waiting the whole campaign for somebody to make this argument. I think it got like 200,000 likes.
Yeah.
Like literally like 200,000, no exaggeration. What does that tell you? That tells you that I am not alone in my frustration about why no one countered that false premise, that false narrative. Trump over everything, whether it's gas prices, whether it's Afghanistan, whether it's baby formula, whether it's the border, whether it's Ukraine, creates this completely fictitious false narrative around these things. And Democrats just ignore it. They don't take it on. I feel like sometimes I'm the only one who goes, this is bullshit. Here's why.
What this film does, which no other film to date has done, it weaves through all of these narratives. What the Trump lawyers were doing as part of their Kraken strategy. There was the Stop the Steal movement, the Proud Boys, and then the Oath Keepers, and the 3%ers, and all these militia groups, and how it organically moved and culminated in what was January 6th. This is that story.
of things in your grief, Jody. I've been bragging to Sean about my stir fry I make every week for the week. It's the salmon veggie stir fry. Can I just say a mistake, Sean, is the arugula. It's a very... That was I don't know why I threw that in there. That was a...
I'm not a fan.
Wow. Yeah, it was just, it's very stringy.
It's very meaty.
Right? Yeah, it's weird. It's good raw, but yeah, it was that was a grave error. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that
Of
again.
many that I will probably make in the next 4 years.
Don't do that again.
Okay. Karen in Chicago. Hi, Karen. Hello, Karen.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
I'm
go
sorry, it's very staticky. Sorry, very staticky. Okay, so I just want to say this. Yeah, Tom Homan is a dangerous guy. He is all about Project 2025.
Yeah.
So we need to be very clear-eyed about who we are going to have handling the various issues in this country. But this is what I want to know.
How about all the people that bought? How about all the people that bought that lie, Karen? That he doesn't know anything about Project 2025. Doesn't know anything about it. Isn't going to do any of it.
He announced like an hour after he won.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, well, and Steph, let me just say this. I keep hearing people saying it's going to be a really bumpy 4 years, on our side. I want somebody to come out and let us know what is happening to ensure that it's only going to be 4 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
You know what? Let's worry about that later.
I know it's early.
Let's worry about the immediate right now. But thank you for future my nightmares. But yes, listen. Let's help everybody. You know what? In honor of Kamala Harris, see who you can lift up individually rather than beat down somebody. Just because everybody is going to need some help during this. Oh, you know what? I've realized I can do my Betty Davis impression now. Fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Nah.
Oh, don't do that again.
All right. I won't.
I'm Ben Shapiro. You might remember me from Breitbart, holding my wood outside Home Depot, my 2016 op-ed, I will never vote for Donald Trump and here's why, or my 2020 vote for Donald Trump. What do you want? If you can't beat him, renounce your values and grovel before them. I don't care. I bet I make more than you. I'm sure I make more than you. And today, for the next 3 hours in this video, I'm going to destroy Barbie. I'm going to destroy her. I'm going to own her. I'm going to own her and destroy her. Those two things. I'm going to show you on the doll where the doll movie triggered me. The basic premise of the whole mise en scène is that Barbie is some kind of liberator figure, and basically that sets up 2 hours of non-stop, incoherent, feminist, liberal, women's studies, globalistic, secular human propaganda vomit disguised as cinema. And it's woke, too. Look, I spend the entire week feeding the grievance complexes of white men. When my weekend comes, I want an escape. I don't want woke Barbie. This Barbie ignores men and looks down on them and mocks them. And I've known women like this. Most women I've known, socially and in professional settings, have exactly like this. Honestly, I have not been this angry since that couples counselor kept trying to convince me that the female orgasm was real. It's not. You guys know. It's a myth. Like climate change. And racism. This movie uses the word patriarchy. A lot. A lot. I mean, use it once, fine. It goes over their heads, they don't know anything. But if you keep using that word, little girls are gonna know what it means. What's wrong with you? Most of the film is spent just smearing America's most vulnerable minority, wealthy white businessmen. Totally offensive. I was so outraged, I threw my booster seat at the screen. There's this transgender Barbie who exists in the film for seemingly no other reason than to tell children that transgenders are people that we should be nice to. Who's putting this in our kids' brains? Like, nobody ever gangs up on the trans Barbie, or calls it names, or says it's mentally ill, or misgenders it to make it cry, which, by the way, is completely legal, and you are allowed to do that anytime. They just accept it's trans like it's a person. Ha! Let's see if Islam lets you get away with that, Barbie. All the men in this movie are portrayed as these pathetic, frustrated vessels of impotent rage because they can't control women. Men are not trying to control women, and that's why we have to stop Greta Gerwig from ever being able to make a movie again. The way men are portrayed in this movie is unforgivable. Look, when my wife's date comes over on a Friday night to make love to her in our marital bed while I sit and watch in a dark corner from my chair, I don't want to see some woke Marxist giving her the pleasure I cannot. You might have seen in my last video, I bought some Barbies and set them on fire on my grill. How do you like that, Mattel? I burned your product, and all you've got is my money I paid you before I burn. In short, this film will make you so proud to be part of the gender that denies them control of their own bodies.
be comfortable either, because when you enter this country illegally, you have committed a crime. You are a criminal, and you're not off the table.
Okay, so the leopards are having a face buffet already. People that voted for the leopards eating my face party. How about that Latino family that said he's not going to deport our relatives because they're not criminals?
Right.
He basically just said, yes, just being here undocumented
is a criminal.
Right.
You're a criminal.
So, yes, he is going to deport your relatives.
Yes.
So, nicely done. Nicely done with that Trump vote.
And he lied about not deporting U.S. citizens because he said it before that
Said
if
it
it's
before.
a family,
We'll deport the whole family.
even if the children are
Literally-
U.S. citizens or whatever.
Right. It's wow. Every time I think this is going to be really bad, I'm like, oh, it's going to be even worse. Okay. Black Knight, our friend, said oldest candidate to ever win an election, and just like that, the media never talked about age again. So many thanks. So little time, Jody. So many thank yous. Thank you, media, for all your help spreading disinformation. Hey, here's one. Who said for years to come, there are many people on the right that are going to have to explain and justify how they fell into this trap of supporting Donald Trump?
Betty Rubble.
No, that was Marco Rubio, who was just named Trump's Secretary of State.
He may not make it. He may not make it.
First of all, so the latest kiss my ring and put your tongue up my for Trump is whoever is Senate Majority Leader has to agree to recess appointments.
All the time.
What? Why would they have to agree to recess appointments? They already have control of the Senate. Is how awful are his picks going to be that he's afraid? And so right away, Rick Scott's like, yes, sir. Is my tongue far enough up your or? So Rick Scott said, yes, absolutely. We'll do.
The other two
but that's like
yes
saying.
as well. Thune and Cornyn have already
Forget
said
it. We don't care. The Senate doesn't need any advice and consent. We're just completely your pawns, whatever you want, sir. Yes, sir. Right? But I'm going, what? Oh, God. That means dead brainworm guy, the head of the HHS. Like, how awful do these picks have to be that he has to demand from a majority of the Senate that he already has recess appointments? Okay. Again, Rick Stengel, echoing Lawrence O'Donnell, said, yes, Trump won, but it's not a mandate. He has a very slim popular vote margin. It seems outsized only in comparison to the fact that Republicans seldom win the popular vote. He got fewer votes than the last time.
Yes.
He won because of the millions of folks who chose not to vote, hardly a mandate. We were saying the running count now is...
almost 72 million, and he's
72-ish.
just over
He's at
75.
75-ish.
Yeah.
So, but they're saying there's millions of votes still outstanding from California,
And
obviously.
Pennsylvania, and
Right.
other places, yeah.
Right. And so, because I was saying yesterday, I was looking at someone's projections of she'll get like closer to 76 and he'll get closer to 78 or whatever. But as Lawrence said, it's going to be a point and a half, 1.5% difference probably. So, yeah. So just stop letting them take your power like that, I would say, first of all. Bill is where we are in the rage meter, Jody. He said, how dare that fascist piece of... For 4 years, Trump has been spreading the big lies, conspiracies, and disinformation of how the election was rigged and stolen from him. Yet now, because he won, he wants to make peace. Trump today, Trump tomorrow, Trump forever. I may buy some more Trump t-shirts. In fact, do I have enough? Who can say?
You can never have enough.
You can never be too rich, too thin, or have too many Trump shirts.
Exactly.
Yeah, in my opinion. Okay, let's go to Lucretia in Milwaukee, my sweaty church whore. Hello, Lucretia. Lucretia in Milwaukee. Hello.
Hi. Yes. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
For the first thing I did want to mention, Stephanie, I did send you an email. If you get a chance, I know you've been getting a lot of letters, but if you can please read it, I would greatly appreciate it.
Okay.
But the reason why I'm calling is because, I'm still heartbroken. And so, but my anger and my hurt it morphed into win stupid games, win stupid prizes, and I don't feel sorry for you. I'm very disappointed how 60% of Hispanics voted for this man, and I don't know if they were thinking this was going to save them. It was like you sat there, you wasted your vote on the fact that you're putting your family in harm's way, that you might be deported. They don't, as long as you're Hispanic, they don't care if you voted for them. They don't want you here.
Yeah.
To the people who are on Obamacare and on $35 insulin, and those are too embarrassed to say that they're on Obamacare and still voted for him, you voted against your own interests.
Thank you.
And,
And
we're
Lucretia,
supposed to feel bad for you. We understood the assignment.
Angela,
we got it.
Angela
But
from
you know what?
Angela from
Mhm.
Frangela, by the way, like she said this, that racism, like she said, I love Puerto Rican. People sometimes think I'm Puerto Rican. Like, you know, trust me, if they come for Angela V. Shelton, I'm going to start singing songs from West Side Story. I'm going to start snapping my fingers. I'm going to be like, I'm Puerto Rican too. And also I'm Spartacus.
Rita Moreno will have your back.
And you know, and the thing is too, I have been mistaken for like being Puerto Rican and Mexican and things like that. So I don't want to sit there, you know, be like sit there and be like I can't think of the word right now, paranoid. But it's like, who's to say I might get pulled over and they look at me like, oh, you know, you think I'm like from Mexico or something like that. I would have to prove to people like to whoever, like, I'm not Hispanic. That's what I also I sit there and worry about. So to those, I said, you know, we understood the assignment. We knew what was going to happen. And to those who didn't believe the Project 2025 was real and it's hitting you like a ton of bricks, I will say this and be done with this. You take your ass, you walk to that bed that you made, get your ass in it, and cry into your pillow. We have warned you about this. Yeah. He told you who he was. He does not care about you. He said, I don't care about your vote. I just care about your vote. And now all of a sudden you're dumbfounded now that you're not drunk on the orange Kool-Aid. Yeah. I don't have the sympathy and empathy for the ignorant. And so I know it sounds very mean, but I don't care. Win stupid game, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Give
you
yourself,
made your bed, now
give
get
yourself,
your ass in it. Wow.
Give yourself permission to be wherever you are. One of the saddest tweets was E. Jean Carroll on Election Day just said, I tried to tell you. You know,
Oh, yeah,
so many people
absolutely.
tried to tell
like
us.
I
And
said, just please read my letter.
yeah. Now they're going to find out.
Oh,
It's and I know. I love this. It's Blue Daisy tweeted. It's real funny to me that people with zero empathy now expect us to have some for them. Really? Again, the guy writes me every day and calls me a bulimic ditch licker and, tells Frangela where to go pick cotton. And, they're over there gloating and saying your body, my choice. Screw you.
Did you see the woman that was crying because her mother and grandmother voted for Kamala and they don't want her in there? And she's a Trump voter. And she was all upset and crying about her mother and grandmother not dealing with her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm with your mother and grandmother.
Yeah. It's not people keep saying it's a questions of morals and decency.
It's not about voting.
It's not about, we're not having a difference on policies anymore. By the way, this right wing hole that writes me all the time. Democrats return to their labeling the electorate with isms and phobia. That's because are you going to try to tell me that racism and sexism and homophobia had nothing to do with this election, with all these people reacting like this? Did you ever stop to assume Mr. Trump won over voters with policies?
No.
Policies.
He had none.
What? Yes, exactly. Oh, please. Please. Policies. A campaign, she's talking about Harris's campaign, a campaign fraught with cheap ploys, refraining from live interviews. She did every interview known to man, every podcast. He's the one that didn't do anything, that wasn't a friendly interviewer. He didn't debate. Oh, my God. All leading to budget deficits, $1 billion war chest reduced to a basket of unpaid bills. What are you talking about?
I don't.
Oh, my God.
I don't get it either.
I can't. Okay. Yeah. Where is this? Grace tweets. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, this was...
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
I'm uh-ohing myself.
Why, should I ask Sean? Someone's got to get this wrong.
I will.
In Chris's stead. This constant lying is not aimed at making people believe a lie, but at ensuring that no one believes anything anymore. A people that can no longer distinguish between truth and lies cannot distinguish between right and wrong. And such people, deprived of the power to think and judge, is without knowing and willing it, completely subjected to the rule of lies. With such a people, you can do whatever you want.
Scooby-Doo.
No, that was that was really bad. No, it was a German historian. I think the key there would be German historian.
Yeah.
Hannah Arendt. Okay. Wonder if that'll be on the little things on your Hitler burger. You get like a little fortune, but okay. Okay. Pardon me. I'm sorry. I'm looking for my next guest to quote. Good luck. Oh, here it is. No, I'm sorry. Just to our point, we were just talking about David tweets, we can disagree and still be friends, bro. We can disagree on pizza toppings, not on women having equal rights or not.
Exactly.
Thank you. Donna the travel agent. Hello, Donna the travel agent. Hi.
Hello, Stephanie Miller, the Stephanie Miller Show.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you.
Listen, I have a friend. I don't know if you guys heard about it. I did send it to Angela, but I should have sent it to you guys as well. Yesterday, 2 days ago, a friend of mine who lives in Chicago, she lives in the same town as Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
She went over to his house. She rang the doorbell, and she was pepper sprayed and then knocked down.
Wow.
Down the steps.
Donna, I heard about this, and
And
can
he
I just
took her-
say I'm not for
he
doxing
took her
anybody.
phone.
No, I'm not for that either.
Yeah,
No,
I mean someone put Nick Fuentes'
his address is out there.
Yeah,
and
I
that's
mean,
not right.
thank you,
His
Donna.
mother's address, actually, because he's living with her now.
Because he's one of those alpha males we've heard
Mhm.
about. Yeah, because liberal men are too beta.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Okay.
my
All right.
God.
But, yeah, listen, let's not become them. I get it that, a lot of women feel like he is really like his level of misogyny is putting them in danger. I understand it, but don't dox people.
No, that's
none
not
of the
right.
rest of us want our
That's not
address
right.
posted and to be.
That's not right.
You
I agree. That's not. Especially, it's not even his address. It's his mother's. On top of it all, people.
I like to just bring some wine and have a chat with her.
Well, Jesse Waters' mom is not inviting him to Thanksgiving.
Did you? We talked to. Oh my God, how great was Heather Cox Richardson yesterday?
so great.
We got to have her back again and again. But we were just talking about the, Jesse Waters, the mean spiritedness. He literally said, "Oh, these mass deportations are going to be hysterical." Remember, he started like making fun of homeless people on Bill
I remember
O'Reilly's
that,
show.
yeah.
He'd go and like pester them and. Really, it's going to be hysterical. Ooh, all that human suffering. I mean, God, it's there is a meanness that I'm sorry, I'm not going to become like them. I'm not going to go, oh, we really have to find out what's wrong with us. And, it's like I say, there's going to be, I don't know the final count, 75 million of us? I don't know. We're tracking I think I read a projection yesterday.
Right.
Like I was saying, it's 76 million, but we're at 72, he's at 75. There's a lot more California ballots out, millions actually.
Millions, yeah.
Out, yeah. All right, let's take one more before the break. We take a Farmer in Norfolk. Hi, Farmer.
Morning, y'all. Thanks for coming back, Jody.
Okay.
And Sean, thank you for your service, sir. Yes. Mom, I want to say something about the 18th, but real quick. It was funny. Donna was on. Donna, I want to give you the style could not have been more amazing. Thank you so much for finding that hotel. It was just the cutest thing in the world, and then it was a blast hanging out with you.
Oh, by the way, some maggots like, have you canceled your DC show yet? And I was like, no, I have not. And I put a blue heart and an American flag and an arm muscle thingy. Yes. Get the DC hotel. Come for the march. There's a march January 18th. That is when DC Sexy Liberal is. It is when the resistance begins.
Oui.
Oui? Oh, oui. Yes. Okay. Vive la résistance. Did we say
Vive.
that? Vive Teco! Oh, is there enough of that for the next 4 years? Well, we won't be able to afford it, but still, it's a dream.
Some brie?
Pepe Le Pew. Somebody yesterday is like, why is Stephanie naming hockey players from the Buffalo Sabres in the 1970s? Because Gilbert Perreault, René Robert are all I can think of. And, of course, Guy Lafleur.
Guy Lafleur.
Because that's just fun. Okay. 48 minutes after the hour. Come on to me. Hello, personal comedy
Hi.
Jesus.
Good morning. Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome. I just want to congratulate the entire Confederacy. Really well done, guys. They never count you out again, I promise. It's, look, this is how it's been at nighttime on Progress as well. People are realizing that we're a country of men who are too weak for a woman president.
Yeah.
He can be a rapist and a racist and a white supremacist who stole from veterans with a fraudulent online university, lies about innocent migrants. He can violate all 10 commandments, but at least he's not a woman. And that's where we are this week.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving up because I am in love with the more than half of America that resists this and will continue to resist this.
Yeah.
This doesn't remind me of 2016. This reminds me of 2004, Steffi. You remember 2004?
Yeah.
George W. Bush, this aristocrat, brat, illiterate, millionaire at birth, who lied to all of us. And Americans died because of his lies. And crappy white people decided, I don't care that he lied, I'll reelect him.
Yeah.
And He left office the most unpopular president in history until Bush. And there's no words for how horrible this is going to end for Donald Trump. There's no way this doesn't end like the last scene of Scarface for both him and the eyeliner model. That's how it goes. And if you're down, I have many thoughts today, but I'll just say one thing. If you guys are down and you think you're never going to smile again, just remember all the Ozempic he's been taking has led to so much weight loss and saggy skin that he can no longer wear a collared shirt with a tie without having a neck vagina. And I want that neck vagina to get you through the darkest of nights, folks, because you deserve to laugh at the darkest times.
It's a mangina. It is. So one of my favorite lines of yours that you tweeted is, America's an old couch and Trump is the black light.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the depressing part for a lot of us, John. It's not, because this election isn't about who he is. It's about who we are.
Amen. And we've always been this dirty. We've always found racism acceptable. We've always found treating women like crap acceptable. Show me all the things that the media demanded Kamala Harris do that they required of Donald Trump.
Thank you.
You know.
Well, and you also said Trump's not the Antichrist, but Christ is the anti-Trump. I mean, this thing that you talk about so eloquently all the time, how the least Christ-like man in the world has become their Messiah. I mean, evangelical leaders celebrate Trump's victory as a prophecy fulfilled. I mean...
It's the triumph of Christianity over Christ, okay? Donald Trump is the Christianity what Jesus was to lying, racism, narcissism, disregard for the poor, supporting torture, making the rich richer, hating your enemies, defending white supremacists, taking health care away from poor people, stealing from people with fraud, celebrating greed and wealth, never asking forgiveness, lusting after your own daughter, evicting people from eminent domain law, G'ing women by the P? No, boo-boo. You can enjoy your victory all you want, but anyone who's actually read the New Testament is going to call out these corrosive, flock-fleecing Pharisee frauds. You don't get to call yourself Christian anymore. Those of us who read the Bible are going to call you out.
Yeah.
So do I.
John, okay, can you take your organ out for me? Thank you, Chris. I just... Even reading this made my head explode. After having repeatedly depicted the presidential election as a spiritual clash between good and evil... We'd be the evil in this part, and Trump in this scenario is the good. Leading figures in the movement to remake America as an explicitly Christian nation celebrated Trump's victory as a fulfillment of God's divine will. Lance, somebody who cares, a celebrity evangelist, said there's a different dialogue about spirituality happening in America. And with Donald Trump, God has given us permission to take it right to the White House. While evangelical support for Trump has not wavered since he pledged in early 2016 while running for GOP nomination, if he were elected, Christianity will have power. If I'm there, you're going to have plenty of power. You don't need anybody else, Trump said.
That's their religion, is power. Yeah. That's all they care about. They reject the gospel. They don't give a rat's ass about the things Jesus actually talked about. They want power. I'm writing a whole book about this. And you ask, and the real failing here, Steffi, is the media. Because the media allows these frauds to pass themselves off as what Christianity is. The media will never ask any of these evangelicals, name one teaching of Jesus the MAGA movement fights for. Chapter and verse, please. One thing Christ actually commanded, like welcome the stranger, which he commands in Matthew 25, you immigrant-hating frauds.
come unto me. Hello, personal comedy
Hi.
Jesus.
Good morning. Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome. I just want to congratulate the entire Confederacy. Really well done, guys. They never count you out again, I promise.
5 minutes after the hour. I love
have
that
a
someone,
correction.
Sean just someone just thanked Sean for his service, which I thought it is interesting. He showed up yesterday on Veterans Day in the middle. We are basically in wartime.
We are.
In
I do have a
in America.
correction. Karen
Yes.
from Chicago texted me just now saying that the address online is Nick Fuentes' address. His mother lives someplace else, which is probably why he moved into
Oh, he
his
ran home
mom's
to mommy
house.
because
Because people were doxing him,
we
and that's
re-
not right. Do not
Yes.
do that, people.
Do not
This is
dox
not
people.
good. This
Yes.
is bad.
Yes, I understand. A lot of women felt, that very, that there's little boys in school. There's reports of this everywhere saying to little girls, "Your body, my choice."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just the misogyny off the charts. Frank Conniff tweets, "You can call veterans losers, make fun of a disabled person, say any kind of racist, sexist, homophobic that you want, and still get elected president twice. So can we please stop pretending there's such a thing as cancel culture?"
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Karen in Nashville. Hello, Karen.
Hey, Steph.
Hi.
Good morning. I just wanted to call and lift you up with a little reminder that Andrea Mitchell's retiring after the inauguration.
Yes, thank God.
Oh, thank
Silver
God.
lining.
Thank
Also-
God. Thank God. We'll take any little nugget we can get.
Absolutely. And we need extra lifting because our wonderful Gloria Johnson lost her race against Marsha Blackburn, and we're stuck with that thing now.
I know.
So.
Sorry.
That and also Debbie Mucarsel Powell,
Yeah.
who we had on a couple of times along with Gloria, just heartbreakers. Ugh.
Yeah.
Especially Rick Scott is just such a horrible and obviously
And
like
a thief.
Yes, money grubbing thief, just like Trump, and now he's likely to be the Senate Majority Leader.
I don't think he's
And
gonna
you
get
could
it.
have had Debbie for Florida, who is fantastic. By the way, Shannon Watts, who we also love and have had on, said, "As the mom of a trans kid, I would ask that you think about the fact when you blame support for trans people for the loss of the election, instead of the hate fomented by the 143 whole bunch of innocent people." Escape. Just looking for everything Kamala Harris. And Senator Bernhardt said, "I dedicate myself to doing something on her behalf every damn day." Yes, lift someone up. Don't beat someone down. Hearts.
I remember you called into the radio show and read Trump tweets as the Joker.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But
well, after doing
at
the
least
joke,
the Joker had some redeeming qualities.
well, the thing is, after doing it for so long, I recognize really good demented dialogue. And there was a tweet that he did, and someone commented, "This sounds like something the Joker would say while threatening to poison Gotham City's water supply." And I thought, you know what, I should do that. Because, you know, he can't just say Merry Christmas. He has to say, Merry Christmas, even to the losers and communists and Democrat left-wing assholes. You know, why can't, you know, just say Merry Christmas and stop? We'd be happy with that. But I have a message, you know, I say, the force is strong with the Democratic Party. And my message to MAGA is, go force yourself, all right? I like that because it sounds dirty and it's not, and I don't work blue. Hey.
Of course not. If you could devise a campaign that is meant to alienate more segments of the population, Chair Biden, I mean, I was saying, what is J.D. Vance's door-knocking operation? Is he just going to call every woman in America a whore? I just hi, you're a C word and your mother's a whore. Thank you. I'm J.D. Vance. Mark, I know you're brave to speak out politically in Hollywood. I know you wish you could have Scott Baio's career, but
or Kevin Sorbo's.
But I mean, talk a little bit about why you've decided, because like they always say, like actors don't want to be political.
Right. Well, the honest truth is that I've always voted. I've always followed politics very closely, but I never publicly expressed how I felt and how I was going to vote. Even in 2016 with Hillary, but this time I felt like I have a responsibility. I mean, that it's far more important, you know, because I've had people say, you know, you could hurt your career. I don't care. I mean, this is more important. Who cares if I get a guest spot on The Mandalorian versus a mentally ill person back in the Oval Office? There's no contest. So, I mean, I you know, basically, I don't care. I never block people on Twitter because I don't want to give them the satisfaction of the screenshot that said Mark Hamill blocked you. So I've never blocked anyone.
Biden and attacking the Democrats are failing to win over Latino voters. But the disturbing thing about this election isn't new. Right? And that's sort of maybe it's why I'm not taking this as badly as people might think. It's like the problem was we always had 40 or 45% or whatever the number is, people who are going to vote for him anyway. They may tell you, oh, it's the price of eggs, but they, you know, if it weren't that, it would be it would be something else. Some of those. I mean, I think there are legitimate voters. There are voters who are actual swing voters who have been negatively affected by inflation.
Yeah, someone said, I didn't know Americans like an egg so much that they trade their democracy for them. Yeah. That was George Conway, who went on to say,
among the 40-something% who are going to be there no matter what, they consume an information diet that is, self-selected in a way that that is addictive, and they, and this is essentially we have a bubble around 40% of the population at least, and they don't know basic things about what Trump has done. Whenever Trump says something crazy and starts to perform vulgar acts on a microphone, they change the channel. The network changes the channel.
Yeah. Fox News
cuts away.
Yeah, total sane washing. But this is what I mean, Jody. We were saying Democrats have all these policies that were good for the working class.
Mm-hmm.
Trump had a bunch of lies that let you blame other people for what's wrong with your life, and I guess that was easier this time around. Wajahat Ali said, why was Kamala Harris a terrible candidate? 81 million Americans, a record, voted for Biden-Harris. This is last time. She was then given 2 months to launch a campaign. She will lose only by about 1.3 to 1.5 points during a historical phenomenon in which nearly every single incumbent party lost around the world. Not a flawless campaign, mistakes for sure, but explain how she was terrible compared to a convicted felon who filleted a microphone and was held liable for assault and incited an insurrection. Show your work. Thank you. So it's just all of this. By the way, we're getting a lot of texts. Von Seal in Asheville said, don't dial back. You are our spleen, and it needs venting. Go on with your bad self. And then Travis Bone texted Sean and said, I'm concerned about her, but thank God she has an almost fully trained nurse in there. Sean is in nursing school. Like, Sean, what are the signs of a stroke? Is the thing in our PSA, or is it what's
Do you
happening?
smell toast?
I do.
Not good.
That you probably just made toast, though, just
I
to
did.
F with me. Yeah.
That's what Chris and I are doing now. We're just making toast.
Just every morning.
Every morning we just
What
make
is
a
that
lot of really burnt toast.
That's
the same toast.
The same toast over and over again.
What did I say about lift someone up? Don't tweet them when they're on the edge of the cliff. Don't bink. Just, your friends are right on the edge. Just do the thing that's going to send them right over. Okay, listen, if you're angry, Jody Hamilton is the gal for you. She is a middle child. She's a Capricorn.
And
She's
I'm
Irish.
Do not mess with me.
And she has a song for us. And she will stay mad forever.
Why don't you just shut up?
Oh, well, that, but then the other one, too. Here we go.
Fight!
Yeah!
Fight! Fight! I ain't going down, I'm swinging. Fight! 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 I ain't going down, I'm swinging. Fight! 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 I ain't going down, I'm swinging.
Yeah. Thank you, Jody Hamilton. Sean, you do have also a film degree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll be back for elder care when you have your nursing degree for me. But in the meantime, Oh No, She tweeted, this feels like we're in one of those Jurassic Park sequels where a lot of us were like, hey, let's not try this again because last time the dinosaurs got loose, but other people were like, well, maybe the dinosaurs won't get loose this time.
They always do.
Yeah.
They always do. Life will find a way.
What's the other one? He doesn't want to be fed. He wants to hunt. Don't you understand who Donald Trump is? They're just testing the fences right now. There we go. See? Clever girl. Yeah, Christy Noem, clever girl. Okay. Oh, boy. Yes. Oh, here's another one for you. Frank Conniff. Enjoyed the Penguin series, but I don't know. The idea that a fat, disgusting, evil, monstrous villain can succeed in this country just doesn't seem plausible to me.
And by the way, the Penguin is really good.
I can't watch anything dark. Life is too dark right now. Richard in WCPT Chicago.
Hello, Richard.
Hello.
Hey, good morning, radio sister. I'm glad you're well. I'm not going to ask how you are.
Well,
You
does
can hear me. I
this
know
seem
you
well
can,
to
and I know
you?
you're good.
I'm sorry, Richard. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it does, because you're fighting, damn it. That's what it means. We're not going to lay down and take it and any of that craziness. I had a caller this morning that said to me, Richard, have you checked in on Stephanie Miller? And I said, I have. We text. But I just wanted to let you know that we got you. And
Thank you,
we
baby.
all have each other right now.
We need
But
each
one
other
thing that
more than
cannot
ever.
happen.
Yeah.
We need each other more than ever. And the other thing too, Stephanie, you've been saying it, is that the circular firing squad has to end.
Yeah.
We have to take our fire hose and direct it at the issues and Republicans and make sure that we're united. That's common sense, but a lot of people are still working through it. So let's just keep encouraging people to stay in the fight, fist up, the Chicago way. You know, when they bring a, you know what, you know what we bring to the fight.
Yep.
So
We need
just
every-
wanted to encourage you and send you that little bit of love.
Thank you, baby. We need every alpha liberal we can in the fight right now. Olivia Troy, our buddy, our pal, formerly of Trump's last Homeland Security Department, said Trump's plan to appoint Thom Homan as border czar is no accident. Homan's track record, extreme and ineffective policies that target all immigrants, not just criminals. But the real goal here is deeper, dismantling DHS and unraveling our Homeland Security framework as we know it. It's not about solutions, it's about disruption. Can I just say... all of these analysis that people are writing, chaos voters, analyst reveals why Trump supporters want to watch things burn. Okay, well, you elected the arsonist. You're going to watch things burn now.
Yeah.
I mean, a desire for chaos is a key reason some supporters of Trump are thrilled he'll resume the White House in 2025, despite economic plans that experts warn could ignite an inflation bomb. Everybody's like, experts, right? And, he was dubbed one of the singularly worst presidents in American history, has repeatedly targeted people of color in his campaign. The analyst said this election is a chance for white men to throw a middle finger at people who talk down to you. This is the day you get to throw a human Molotov cocktail. Oh, my God. Really? Really? Oh, God, the sad saga of the downtrodden white man in America
I'm
again.
done with that.
Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Uh-oh. Should I give this one to Sean? He's smarter than all of us put together, no
He's so
offense.
smart.
Okay, Sean. Who said the American fascist would prefer not to use violence? His method is to poison the channels of public information. With a fascist, the problem is never how best to present the truth to the public, but how best to use the news to deceive the public into giving the fascist and his group more money or more power.
That's a Bob Dylan song, right?
Oh,
that was good, though.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Vice President Henry Wallace, but
close enough.
Wasn't he one of Dylan's songwriters? I think so. I'm just making it up now. Okay. All right, one last one, Sean, for you. Dark and difficult times lie ahead. Soon we must all face the choice between what is right and what is easy. But remember, you have friends here. You're not alone.
I'm going to say it again. That's a Bob Dylan.
No. Well, that could be Stephanie Miller in the Stephanie Miller Show, but no, it's Dumbledore. Albus Dumbledore.
Well, that's Harry Pottery.
Right. I knew that.
Because you read all the books?
Okay. Dean Obadala said, as you're seeing, the right, along with their wealthy allies, are attempting to find Trump's quote-unquote win in a way that is bigger than it was. Their goal is to get us to submit to their goals. Do not submit. Oh, I got you on that, Dean. So does Jody Hamilton, who reminds you to just shut up. Just all of you, just shut up.
All of you just
Shut up! Oh, yeah! Why don't you just shut up?
I'm going to keep doing that. You're not even looking at me.
I can see it there.
I think
I can see it on the monitor.
This is kind of early. He's not even president yet. This is kind of early for me to... Wow, I'm losing it. Okay, Seth, our homo of hope. Hello.
Hello, heteros and hetero-adjacent Stephanie.
Yes.
So here's what I think. First of all...
Oh, that's right. I'm the only gay in the
to...
village
You are
week.
this last
yeah,
2 days.
You're the solo mode today. Theme song. I want to mash up.
It's so lonely being the only gay in the village.
And suddenly I have a British accent.
I want your... Exactly. So I want to, for the theme song, mash up Jody's fight with I Want to See You Be Brave. It'd be amazing. And I think what will warm our country's heart, what I need, is I think people need to start naming their baby girls Kamala. I want to see next year, that is the number one name for baby girl.
There you go. We'll get to Kamala one way or another.
Yes. And now, I'll tell you one thing. This circling firing squad's got to stop. It's the media, stupid. And if one more person gets on there and starts blaming each other, they can suck cucumbers. Because it is the media, the disinformation, the echo chamber, and that's it.
Seth,
and
tell me how
lastly,
the lowest jobless rate in 50 years, inflation lower, than before the pandemic, the best economy anywhere in the world. Tell me how it's the economy, right? It's people, what the media has told them the economy is. It's not, okay. All right. You didn't know there would be bonus rounds, did you, Sean? Who said a hero is someone who keeps trying to do the right thing even when they feel the walls closing in, and we can all do that. It's not winning that makes a hero. It's doing the right thing when it's hard to do the right thing. That's an idea to hold on to.
That's a Beatles song.
No, Heather Cox Richardson.
Wow. See,
Who was
we
our
love
guest
her.
yesterday,
Yeah.
who we love so much. All right, this is it. This is our last chance. Who said, "'Tis the time's plague when madmen lead the blind"?
That's Shakespeare, right?
It was King Lear.
That's Shakespeare.
Well,
Oh.
all right.
That is Shakespeare.
Oh, is it? Okay.
King Lear. That's
Wow.
Shakespeare.
You're not supposed to get this right.
He got it right.
Sue in Rockville, hello. Hello, Sue.
Well, hi, guys.
Hi.
I just want to say two quick things because I am one of the people who is stepping back. I've spent 10 years trying to educate people, and they're not interested. So that's okay. I have other things to do. But what I do want to say, I think it's important. First of all, I'm happy to see the Harris campaign doing a recount. There is no way in hell that more than 15 million Democrats stayed home as opposed to 2020. It didn't happen. We know Starlink and Musk are involved.
Part of it
and
they're saying is
DOJ
it's the votes in California have not been counted, and there are millions of those votes.
Yeah,
So
well,
I think we need to wait.
Lawrence-
Give it a second.
Yeah, Lawrence O'Donnell is right. And we need all the votes counted. All of that being said, I have no doubt this was cheated. They were targeted to 7 swing states. Most of those states elected Democratic senators, but then switched for Trump. I don't buy it. It smells to high heaven. But that being said, 70 million Americans chose this guy.
Mm-hmm.
They are willfully ignorant, profoundly stupid. They're the ones who have to change. We don't have to change. We are tolerant. We are kind. We are loving. We are empathic. We want democracy. We believe in patriotism. We put our country before our party. And that's why the circular firing squad is ridiculous and hell, go to hell, all the Democrats blaming each other, and go to hell, Maureen Dowd, and all of the people who sit on their high perches after doing nothing to educate this population. And
In
now
fairness,
trying to
I had resigned
place
her to hell a
blame
long
rather
time
than-
ago.
Don't make
This is not new.
I appreciate that.
All right, Sue, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll talk to JoJo from Jurors about this. Our friend John Pavlovitz has been talking about this too. He said if the Democrats don't initiate a recount for the swing states and bring an investigation into Elon Musk's involvement in the Trump campaign, they're willingly ceding our nation to fascism. In the face of results across 7 states that defy any precedent or reasonable explanation. I understand, like we said yesterday, Jody, I understand people.
Yes.
I think there are so many, like you were talking about the AOC Trump voters. There, frankly, are just a lot of things that don't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
In this election. But anyway, let's wait till the count is done in Pennsylvania and California.
Yeah.
By the way, Stephen King, who we love. By the way, when Stephen King says this is going to be a nightmare,
he would know.
You best believe it.
He would know.
But he got thrown off Twitter yesterday for saying Elon Musk is the first lady. And Amber said, as much as I want to push back at anyone using lady as a slur against a man for obvious reasons, I do love that Elon is having such a fit over being misgendered, considering what he's done to his trans child,
Exactly.
Stephen King. I see what you did there.
Yep. Elon shouldn't.
Any act of resistance, I'm
Yep.
for it. Okay, 21 minutes after the hour.
I just think the Democratic Party is stuck in a very outdated, old campaigning mindset, and the Republicans are not. They're in 2024, and we're in like 1996 when it comes to campaigning, and they're using all the old traditional, TV ads, direct mail, all that kind of stuff. I mean, yes, some social media too, but they're really, we're just talking about like the technical parts of it, like but that needs to be revamped, not the policy. I have plenty of policy issues, but just in terms of like how they go about their business. Now it may be that Democrats don't want to participate in this stuff. I don't know. Maybe you could hold a conference where it could be, Eric Swalwell, Gavin Newsom, people like me and you, and then, some campaign consultants, in there. Maybe no one will show up for that in Detroit. I don't know, but we don't try.
I'm here with the incredibly handsome Dr. David Silverman to talk about ASEA Renew that I'm holding in my hand. This stuff is amazing. Revitalizing Redox gel. You hold up, you have you can either, it comes in drink form and this is the gel form. I love, first of all, that supermodel Carol Alt will be promoting this. She's taken so many jobs from me, so I am so happy.
Just to give some context, because I have to tell you that this is very unique. This is not, it's not a pharmaceutical, it's not a nutritional product. It's something that our cells make. It's called redox signaling molecules. But bottom line is, our cells make redox signaling molecules. Your body makes it right now, but we all made more of it when we were younger. What's in this bottle is in you. It's in me, right? But I'll be 64 in 2 weeks, and I feel like I'm 30 years old. I've been drinking this for 13 years.
Wow. Doc, what a thrill to meet you and to hear more about this, because, you know, it's you just kind of go, oh, it works, but to hear about the why is fascinating to me. Dr. David Silverman, what a joy and a pleasure, and thank you so much. Yeah. Here we go. Rude Pundit, with a great point.
He said it's not just that right-wing media exists that needs to be countered. We need to counter the things that make people believe right-wing media. And yes, I know racism, misogyny, transphobia are high up on the list there. That's true. Like on our side, we're like, how can you even believe such ridiculous lies? Particularly like, let's just take Haitians eating people's pets. It was not just debunked. It was debunked by all the Republican officials.
Yes, exactly.
But I think that's the cult aspect of they only believe what he says. Right? Nothing else seems to matter. Root also said over on Truth, Toilet Trump is saying that any Republican that wants to lead the Senate must allow him to do recess appointments without interference. In other words, he wants to put his people in without any vetting or hearings or voters. Pure dictator.
Yep.
That's how we get Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. Malaria, hell, and I don't know, polio, and God knows what else will be back.
Smallpox.
Sherilyn Eiffel, thank you. She said, can white voters ever be held responsible for anything? A majority of white voters in the most prosperous country in the world with the strongest economy made an utterly irresponsible and reckless choice of a convicted felon, serial lying, racist, unstable authoritarian as president with potentially catastrophic consequences for this country and the world. And we are being gaslit into blaming Democrats. Can we ever call a thing a thing? She was referring to an article.
Right.
8 Dem choices. How many Republican choices created this? Thank you. Oh, this one, Carrie Wilson. You know how toddlers get suspiciously quiet when they're cutting their hair or dumping a bag of flour all over the kitchen? That's what it feels like right now.
Yeah.
It's horse in the hospital time again.
It is.
Or when your dogs are quiet and you can't find them.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Charlie Pierce next.
Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. Please enjoy this video on the Political Voices Network.
So, one headline, protecting democracy from Trump now in the hands of congressional GOP Supreme Court. Your panel mate Saturday night in LA was Adam Schiff, who he has pledged to prosecute, and people like him, Liz Cheney, whoever he decides.
Yeah.
What happens when you have Attorney General Aileen Cannon, I don't know, Jeff Clark, whoever? I mean, what happens when he tries to prosecute people that have committed no crimes?
Yeah, the latest name I saw floated was petty criminal Matt Whitaker, who was Attorney General for a hot minute previously, right, before Bill Barr took over and was even worse. What happens is we still have the institutions of government, DOJ, the military, populated with largely honest, ethical people doing the work of the American people. And there will be resistance. I don't know if that resistance will hold, because they may be driven out, they may be fired, they may be, dragged out by the scruff of their neck by Trump's, soldiers. But this is going to be a daily battle, and we're going to have to fight it night and day against the coming darkness and corruption. And we will, because you know what? There's honor in the fight, Steph. Win, lose, regardless of the odds. There's honor in this daily fight, and that's why we're going to keep it up.
Yeah. Well, who was it? Tolstoy? Somebody was quoting, but it's just wrong doesn't suddenly become right. You know what I mean? Just because more people voted for it this time. Just to your point, so a Republican lawyer who Trump is reportedly considering for Attorney General, what's his name? Mike Davis.
Yeah.
On X, when Trump won, tweeted, "Unity, we have the votes, and they tried to kill Trump." He said, "Here's my current vote. I want to drag their dead political bodies through the streets, burn them, and throw them off the wall." He declared America isn't worthy of Trump and that Liz Cheney should lawyer up.
Yeah, well, let's see if that's the kind of guy that the Senate will confirm. See, listen, Donald Trump, I don't believe Donald Trump cares one whit if he converts our democracy into a dictatorship or if it remains a dictatorship. His calculation will be, how can I maximize my profit? If I can maximize my profit in a dictatorship, let's do it. If I can maximize my profit in a democracy, I'm happy to leave America as a democracy.
I hope he's
I don't think all the Republican politicians necessarily are enamored of the idea of converting American democracy to a dictatorship. So listen, we're going to find resistance anywhere we can in all corners, including across the aisle. And I do believe Trump is going to overplay his hand because he's nothing but miscalculation.
Well, I hope he's
And
lying
there will be
about
backlash.
everything like he was last time.
Right.
He didn't do any of the things he lied to us, that his millions of people, I think I was saying to Chris yesterday, what breaks my heart too, is we already fired him once. Millions of people knew then what a crappy job he did as president. It's just, I think it's so interesting. Let me finish this, Max Burns, and get your take on it. He just said the president, he now inherits a nation deeply weakened by his own toxic brand of politics. Our divided and exhausted nation will now need to fend off the constant extra-legal whims of a president who also thinks the Supreme Court is functionally immune from prosecution for any act he undertakes. If Trump's first term was any indication, we won't need to wait long for the next constitutional crisis. Believers in the rule of law are in for a rough 4 years because though Trump contradicted himself countless times during this marathon campaign, he never wavered in his distaste for the rule of law or his admiration for strongman autocrats. Members of the press can expect Trump to at least try to make good on his oft-repeated pledge to rewrite the nation's press freedom and libel laws. The rest of us will be along for a bumpy and chaotic ride. It matters that Trump won his office in a free and fair election. It matters that free people voluntarily chose to cloak Trump in the power he almost certainly will abuse in far-reaching and destructive ways. Our country made the choice to walk down the dark path of Trump's resentments and conspiracies. We will come to regret it. I think you're right about him overplaying his hand, but but you're right. It's tough to sugarcoat things this week, right, in terms of how bad it could be.
Let's finish up with this, Steph, because he will overplay his hand. And there's one thing that a dictator has no use for: co-equal branches of government. So Congress, look out, because you're going to have to start acting based on your own self-interest, not on giving Donald Trump whatever he wants.
And that's just some of the people he has talked about. Do you support him using the Justice Department to go after the people who disagree?
He didn't do it his first term. What I support is stopping.
Right, but this is a second term.
Oh, God. Miss Jacket McJackass we're going to have to listen to for 4 years, Jim Jordan. How far down are we on the list? Oh, because I emailed someone today that it's something I'm saving money on. I'm like, good, because I'm going to need to buy gum in my deportation camp.
Well, yeah.
So,
you need something in your
I'm down. I'm way down the list past those people. So, all right. We'll ask our friend where he is on the list, on the deportation.
There's only one man now that understands, and that's the author of Idiot America.
Pierce. Pierce.
Charlie Pierce, political columnist for Esquire.com.
Why is everybody always laughing with me?
Hi, Charlie. Hi.
You were late to the chair, but that was only because you were upstairs primping for JoJo.
Yes, that's right. Speaking of deportation, Stuart Stevens says Elon Musk suggests support for replacing democracy with government of, quote, high-status males. And you just said deport this mother, or do it now. Mm-hmm. And I guess misogyny is still not any part of this whole thing that just happened,
Oh, absolutely not. No, they'd have voted for a woman who, as long as, bacon was cheap.
Charlie. What?
And look, I will do almost anything for bacon. I really will. No kidding. I will sell off internal body parts for bacon. I will not give up democracy for bacon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you.
A man has to make a stand somewhere.
We have not talked to you since the election. Just
the last time we spoke, hope was in the air.
Yes.
It was everywhere.
Someone tweeted, I missed the person I was last Monday.
Hey, listen, I just spent the morning writing, 600 words about what a clown and a goof Marco Rubio is. So I'm in a pretty good mood, all things considered.
Is that not they're all so pathetic, Charlie, but it's just, oh my God, all these people that are on record warning about Donald Trump that are now just, how about Nikki Haley and what's his name? What did he, in record time, she even sucks up back to him after he humiliates her again and says she won't be in the administration.
Well, he goes out of his way to humiliate Rubio.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure he didn't just leak the name so he could make Rubio look foolish again.
Yeah. And by the way, Julia Davis said Pompeo and Haley's stance on Ukraine is not in alignment with Trump, Vance, Musk, and Putin. That's why we're fully in whatever Putin says land, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he's, if I was a voter in Moldova, I would not have been happy with the results last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, and I don't even want to think about the three Baltic states.
By the way, we had Heather Cox Richardson on yesterday, who was
I know you.
fantastic.
You really clapped up the joint yesterday,
right? I know. Now you're dragging it down again, Charlie.
I am. I did. I consider it my job to be, Heather's wingman in that regard.
But she retweeted, I think it's Ann Applebaum, that said, a world in which autocracies work together to stay in power, work together to promote their system, work together to damage democracies is not some distant dystopia. That world is one we're living in right now. I mean, every time you try to get your head around how bad this is going to be, you're like, oh, the puppy killer's in charge of Homeland Security, right?
I saw that. And Lee Zeldin is going to head up the EPA. Lee Zeldin knows about as much about environmental issues as a goat knows about opera. But he's a loyalist. The president-elect is making sure he doesn't hire any closet liberals like Rex Tillerson or Jeff Sessions this time around.
Yeah. And by
he's
the way,
making sure he's got safe ones in the bag.
I love, speaking of this whole, misogyny thing, Tom Nichols said, we're going to have to live through an administration advised by guys who are still mad about the pain of prom night. I mean, seriously, Jody, right? Try to tell any woman right now, misogyny was no part of this.
Right.
It's not all of it. Racism's not all of it, but it's certainly part of it. But Charlie, what you and I have talked about for years and years, it is this both sides do it media and their entire right-wing disinformation ecosystem that, enabled people to believe a complete solid wall of lies rather than, a party that has enacted actual policies that have helped them.
A week before the election, they held a rally in Madison Square Garden where they dressed what they really are up in blinding pink neon and showed it to the entire country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, I am not happy with my fellow citizens at all.
Yeah.
I am focusing most of my rage on that.
Thank you. Instead of having to beat up fellow Democrats on what's wrong with Democrats, what's wrong with the people who voted for a convicted felon rapist? Let's look at that for a second, right?
Yeah, and I don't care why they did it, okay? Although I suspect the price of bacon is not really high on the list. I don't care why they did it. They did it. And we all have to live with it. So yes, I can be very ticked off with a majority of my fellow citizens for making me live under this clown for another 4 years.
Yeah.
When we knew what it was like.
And Charlie, as we were saying, all the progressive policies are popular. They won. So, but the same people that voted for abortion rights voted for the rapist who took away their abortion rights. I mean, a lot of it. Jody and I have been talking about the voters that supported both Trump and AOC. So she solicited responses from locals who backed both her and Trump. One said it's real simple. Trump and you care for the working class. Trump doesn't care for the working class. Oh my God. Okay.
Well, he doesn't pay. We know he doesn't pay it.
Right.
Right.
Said pay the working class.
Another
that
said
does the work for him.
Yeah. Another one said voted Trump, but I like you and Bernie. I don't trust either party establishment politicians. She is a party establishment politician. She's a Democrat, which is the working class.
Not
party.
only that, she's worked her hind end off to be an establishment Democratic politician.
Thank you.
She's really good at it.
One said, I feel like you and Trump are both real. I feel you are both outsiders compared to the rest of D.C. and less establishment. I'm sorry, people are idiots. One supporter said, the responses you got make me want to barf. I'm with that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, Charlie, it's like we were saying, it's not whatever, price of bacon, the economy. It's the people's perception of it, right? Because of, once again, the right-wing media, both sides do it media. I mean, it just, that's what's infuriating, as I keep saying, Charlie, if we lost on real issues and we just lost on the issues, we were just wrong about taxes or whatever, according to most people. There is nothing true that they won on.
No, and the problem was, of course, that the winning campaign had absolutely nothing to do with issues.
Right.
An economic plan.
Right. And they weren't asked for one. He didn't do any interviews.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's that too. But the fact is, he gambled, and it looks like successfully, on the fact that issues don't matter at the presidential level.
Right.
That's just bizarre to me. I mean, that runs contrary to everything I've experienced in my life.
Yeah.
But then again, we get to listen to you do your Vive la Resistance thing again.
Yes, I've got to brush up on French words again because once I get
not
past...
just that, I want you to run down that roster of French actresses you want to knock boots with.
Catherine
Deneuve.
That was the last one, and you got to get in line behind me on that one, big guy.
It's good. Yeah, we keep talking about Jesse Waters saying footage of deportations is going to be hysterical. He referred to Trump as a father. This is, can I just say how weird and misogynistic all this crap is, Jody? Waters referred to Trump as a father taking control of the House in chaos and said, sometimes dad has to do tough things. Doesn't make it always look great, but it's the right thing to do, and that's what we expect. It's like Tucker Carlson talking about this weird, like, little girls can get a vigorous spanking. I'm like, oh my God. Like, it just, this, people in some ways, they voted for this cruelty, I guess, and this meanness. And
Look,
this
I'm sorry,
misogyny.
Jesse Waters, his father, used to tie him to the tree in the backyard with a bowl full of dog chow and go on, 2-week benders. But I shouldn't have to pay for that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay. I don't even know. Where else do we start? Okay, so...
Well, I think puppy killer running Homeland Security is definitely up there.
Yeah. Yeah. As I said...
I think the first time she goes to, like, a DHS headquarters, the attack dogs will all eat her.
Someone said, I hope, is the meeting, when is it, tomorrow with Trump and Biden? She said, I hope that he has both commander and major there.
Yes.
Yeah, so because the president-elect hates dogs, right?
He does hate
yes,
dogs.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so let's get him a couple of ferocious ones.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So I've also been talking about Trump's demand to Republican supporters to, about the recess appointments, Charlie, which makes no sense. He has a big enough majority. I keep saying, like, how horrible are the nominees he wants to get through with zero vetting?
One of the things to remember is that a recess appointment doesn't have to go through the confirmation process.
Right.
But so what they do is they appoint them, and then Rick Scott doesn't run a confirmation process.
Yeah, one political analyst said he's concerned he may not get some of these folks through. There may be some Republicans that would push back against some of his more controversial nominees. Well, I've detected zero Republican pushback of any kind on anything. Have you?
Yeah, if there wasn't any Republican pushback the first time, there isn't going to be any this time.
Yeah.
I mean, what's her name? Betsy DeVos skated through.
She did.
And she was the worst, most unqualified nominee I've ever seen before a congressional committee.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no pushback on Kavanaugh.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
there was a little bit, but it wasn't, it wasn't five. We know now it wasn't followed through with.
This one hit home. This headline hit home for me.
Pushback from Majority Leader Rick Scott.
Oh, God. What a Trump presidency means for the liquor industry. Oh, you know what? Now this is getting really personal.
It's real.
Now,
is there enough booze to get through these next 4 years? There's another group of Americans worried about what Trump's presidency means for their fate. Distillers and winemakers. A trade war from the previous Trump administration wreaked havoc on the spirits industry, most notably in the both American and Scotch whiskey categories. Whiskey brands were bracing for a bumpy ride. They said the first round of Trump tariffs killed our EU business dead. I mean, Charlie, there's already, all these reports already about people not getting Christmas bonuses because companies are preemptively worried about the tariffs. They have to buy a bunch of, material now. I think I saw where Nissan's looking at massive layoffs. I
think a lot of that, since the tariffs are not in place yet, I think a lot of that is just, corporate masters doing what they wanted to do anyway. And now they have an excuse.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But once those things are in place, the effect is going to be immediate, and it's going to be real, and it's going to be terrible.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we were talking about this Thom Homan, border czar. Yeah. It's on tape saying, asked how are you going to avoid, child separation? He said, "Oh, we'll just deport whole families." And they asked even the legal ones in the family. He's like, "Yes." I mean, and you've got
this is the guy who belongs in the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
Hartmann. I mean, he is. First of all, he's Exhibit A in the case that Donald Trump did not distance himself from Project 2025.
Thank you. He wrote it.
Yeah. I mean, not just that. I mean, that whole thing was just a joke. This guy's awful. And all we can hope for is that he's been, stealing money from his Christmas club or something, and they catch him.
Don't worry, Charlie. I'm sure Stephen Miller and the Puppy Killer will help moderate him. Oh my God.
Well, that's the other thing about Rubio. Is anybody going to pretend he's going to have any real power in this administration?
Kidding. I know.
They're going to run foreign policy, through the White House, and they're going to have to run it through, Putin's council of advisors too.
Yeah.
What's Rubio going to do? Go, fly overseas and cut ribbons and go to funerals?
I know. No, it's all the worst of the worst Batman villains. That's exactly what we thought was going to happen. All right, Charlie, best of luck to you.
Oh, and I want to make one corrective, and I'm going to keep doing it until people finally straighten up on this one.
Okay.
It's not Kool-Aid. It's Flavor Aid.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Charlie.
What
Thanks.
Jim Jones served was Flavor Aid, not Kool-Aid.
All right, thank you.
Don't Kool-Aid by saying drinking the Kool-Aid.
Okay.
That's the hill on which I'm going to die.
All right. Goodbye. We'll see you next week.
See you later.
Charlie. 48 minutes after the hour. This portion of the show brought to you...
President of the Fairfax County School Board.
Thank you. We need to redo that jingle.
Yes.
Hey, Carl. Good morning, honey. Thanks for calling in yesterday. We needed each other.
Was it yesterday? It feels like it's been years.
Yeah, I know. Now you're back in your regular time. Carl, how are you feeling day two? And, as a former Democratic strategist, as an elected Democrat, I mean, as I was saying, clearly we can't live in a bubble and go, oh, no, we did everything perfectly. I mean, yesterday was a bloodbath. And we have to look at, I just don't want to do the circular firing squad and infighting. Just give us your thoughts.
Well, first, I've had a lot of people reach out and say, what do we do? And I think two things are important. One, if we truly do care about each other the way that we always talk about caring about each other, we can't step away from this fight.
Yeah.
And so how do we remain capable of being in it, shoulder to shoulder? And I think two things are important. One, people need to find joy outside of politics as well. Right? So find the things that you like doing and lean into those things.
As long as this show is still part of that.
Yeah.
Right. Just this show. Maybe just this show. And then
I'm not saying to step away from politics. I'm saying to grow your life around also the things that you find
that's right.
joyful that are not impacted by the Orange Menace.
Yep.
And so do that. And for me, that includes spending more time with my friends, my dog, etc. And then the second thing is charge your batteries. And hopefully finding the joy will help that happen, because we have an obligation. Like I often describe it as like my switch is turned on, right? Like I can't not remain engaged.
Yeah.
I can't walk away. I'm not built that way. I have to remain engaged in this. I have to continue to push for what I think is right. And so I know millions of other people are just like that. The switch is on. They can't turn it off. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't turn it off. And so we have to remain committed to making progress however we possibly can. I strongly encourage people to get involved at the local and state level, because it's going to be a horribly depressing 2 years, this first part of the next Trump administration. And we need to continue fighting there. And perhaps you can feel like you're making some progress doing that, but you can certainly do that at the local level too.
Yeah. So, we're all reading the analyses. Where's this, Chris? New York Times. Yep. One Democratic fundraiser said, how is it possible we could lose to this guy? It's just malpractice. I mean, I think that's people are having a hard time getting their head. First of all the polls were wrong again, right? I mean, it's, and I think it's just, you're right, to this guy. I mean, but this is the thing, like I was saying, that to me, disinformation is the biggest thing, because they just believe him. However many millions of those people believe that he is the one that's persecuted. Every single charge against him is fake news, right? that absolutely they're doing a surgery on trans kids in school. I don't even know what else, right? The border's wide open. All of this stuff that we know provably is not true. Cindy, welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
My wife and I, besides having the whole fear of, a gay married couple of worrying about our marriage, we also have adopted children from foster care, and one of which is biracial. And she's been with us. She's 6 years old now. We've got her at 2 days old. So, we didn't talk too much about, Trump. And I mean, obviously we did with Harris, but, we try not to do insult because they don't really understand as much.
Yeah.
And trying the next morning after the election, they asked who won. And my oldest, she was mad. And, but my youngest bursts out into tears. And she's crying, and we're like, honey, what's wrong? Why are you crying? And she goes, are they going to kill me?
Aww.
And we're like, honey, why would they kill you? And she goes, because I heard he doesn't like brown people. So she thinks that they're going to kill her. She's 6 years old. And to me, like, that was the last thing I was thinking of all the different burdens that we have to worry about. You know, like, their adoption is ironclad. We're both legally their parents. And just to think that, oh my God, in her 6-year-old head thinking, oh my God, he was elected, they're going to kill me because of the color of my skin.
Frances from Frangela, I know Cindy told this heartbreaking story. Her daughter used to love Hulk Hogan and found out, you know, there's this tape of him calling black people the N-word, and she literally came, her eyes wide open. She's like, Mommy, why would he hate us? I thought Hulk Hogan was for everybody. So, you know, sadly, Cindy, a lot of these conversations are going on, you know, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, because we've already, you know, my wife and I are Caucasian, and, you know, in just, you know, different times she's noticed, you know, so this is already something that she thinks about. And we always tell her, you know, oh, honey, you're so beautiful, you know, and we wish we were, you know, our skin was like, you know, yours. And and then just recently, as she's gotten older, pumping her up with like all
you keep doing that. You keep
different
doing
people that we could think of that.
Yeah,
because
Cindy,
one of my favorite is Tina Turner, and she knows her. And
oh, we got a heartbreak. So sorry.
Hi, and welcome back to Reverse Shot. This is a show where we take a weekly look at the best and the worst in reporting. Yeah. Look, the election is over, and let's talk about the press and politics. We've got a lot to answer for during the last election cycle. Now, normally when we get criticized by both the right and the left, I kind of think we've done the right thing. I love it when I write an opinion piece, and both the left and the right tells me I'm nuts. I kind of think I hit my sweet spot. But in this case, they're right about a few things, and we're going to take a look at some of them. You're right, but you may not know why. And there's a key ingredient in all of this, and we'll explain all of that at the end. Now, let's take a look at this. Yeah, I'm talking about Elon Musk. As Oliver Darcy pointed out in his newsletter this week, Elon Musk sent a flurry of tweets blasting the press on Wednesday. He accused the legacy media of having lied relentlessly to the public, telling his followers on X, and I quote, and I'm going to read it, "You are the media now." The dark MAGA billionaire declared that, quote, "news should come from the people." Of course, it already does come from the people. More on that in a moment. But first, let's take a look at a moron who's easy to dispel and how we reported on that. Yes, we're talking about J.D. Vance. Take a look.
But you know something that Donald Trump will never do? Donald Trump will never go out there and say that his fellow citizens should be censored or silenced for disagreeing with him.
Donald Trump will never go out there and say that his fellow citizens should be censored or silenced for disagreeing with him. Horseshit. Trump threw people out of his rallies who disagreed with him. He threatened them. And in the case of free press reporters like myself and Jim Acosta, he tried to take away our press passes, and we had to defeat him in federal court in order to keep our press pass. So, yes, he does try to stifle free speech. And we have been very poor in reporting that. Now let's go to Elon. Musk's X platform is suffering, and in some instances, people have fled it like it's a rotting corpse. Can't blame them because it's full of crap. But now he says X will be the real hub of journalism. Take a look.
This is really going to be the new model of news, which is to gather information from people who are at the scene, who are experts in the field, and summarize the experts in the field and people who are at whatever event is being talked about, and aggregate that into a real-time newsfeed. And I think for the most part that will be better than conventional journalism. We've got real-time aggregation of the collective wisdom of tens of millions of people. Although something may be said that is incorrect, it is very quickly corrected. Whereas a newspaper that is publishing, what happened yesterday, when you read the article, that article could be wrong, often is wrong, but there's no rebuttal to the article.
Okay, interviewing witnesses, that's journalism. We do that. We interview experts in the field. That's journalism. Summarizing the experts, well, that takes nuance and an editor and a reporter, not a curator. Real-time aggregation of the collective wisdom of tens of millions of people, well, you're just aggregating. That's not reporting. A reporter and an editor are necessary to be called a journalist and for journalism to occur. Now, it's easier to define an act of journalism than it is to define what a journalist or who a journalist is. So let's stick to that. Journalism cannot be committed unless it's a team effort. That's just a fact. Now, Elon knows nothing about journalism. He's never done it. I've been in the business for 40 years, and Elon, I'll make you a deal. I won't design rockets, and you keep your mouth shut about journalism because you know nothing about it. Finally, he says, newspapers don't correct their mistakes. Yeah, that's called an ombudsman, and we used to have them before the consolidation of the media and the cutting of staff. Yeah, we should have ombudsman. But you know what? Break up the media monopolies, diversify ownership, bring back the profit that is inherent in reporting vetted factual information, and voila, you could afford an ombudsman. Look, you want to see what passes for journalism on X? Take a look at this. That's right. That's a completely fabricated quote. As Raskin said, quote, designed to undermine our election. That's what you get if you cannot vet your facts, and that's what you get on X. Now, I'm all for free speech, and you can voice your opinions anywhere you want, but that's not journalism. Also, Elon, the pontificator, missed out on one of the bigger stories last week. It had to do with him. Apparently, according to people who work for him, they got herded into U-Haul vans. I'm not making this up. They were supposed to canvass voters without knowing why. Some of them were underpaid or unpaid and threatened with outrageous quotas. It happened in Michigan and Arizona in support of Donald Trump. Here's the story on Wired. Betcha that's one story Elon doesn't want us interviewing witnesses on. Hey, I give a laurel to the people at Wired for investigating and reporting that story. Good job. Finally, look, we've done something really wrong, and it happened at 3 publications: USA Today, Los Angeles Times, and Jeff Bezos at the Washington Post all failed to endorse a candidate for president when, in fact, 2 editorial boards had wanted to endorse Vice President Kamala Harris. That's just journalistic cowardice. Now, Bezos defended him and his newspaper, the Washington Post, not endorsing a candidate, saying, hey, it's not going to sway a single voter in Pennsylvania. That's pretty arrogant to say that your reporting won't sway voters or your opinion won't. And more importantly, it just tells you how useless your newspaper is and how irrelevant it is. Let's take a look at the real facts. Look, when newspapers used to endorse candidates the right way, you had to go before an editorial board and get an interview. And then there was opposition research done. And the newspapers weighed the different people running for office and issued an opinion. And by the way, vetted factual information was used in order to endorse a candidate. And those candidates, if you endorse both right and left, both parties, people did make up their minds based on what was in a newspaper because they trusted the information. Today, with smaller staffs, You don't do it very well, and you can't trust them. And so all Bezos did was tell us his newspaper is dying. Look, to arrogantly assume that what you write doesn't affect an opinion is wrong as well. This is cowardice, folks. The Los Angeles Times, the Washington Post, and USA Today are journalistic cowards.
Oh. Listen, I've been promoting the bejesus out of our, we're going to do a FCC-free happy hour just for the folks today with lots and lots of swearing. Because I said we're going to replicate our phone conversations for the people. Because is there enough swearing for this particular moment in our history? No.
No, we need new swears. I think we need to add words to our swears to make them longer.
Yeah, like maybe a bunch of swears like, melded together because...
everything else is burning down. Might as well burn the swears too. Melt them all together.
Oh my God. So we've talked, obviously. I was saying, that's what you do, right? You reach out to the people you love that are feeling the way you're feeling. We just were telling you this poor lady was talking about her 6-year-old biracial child that literally came to her and said, "Are they going to kill me? I heard Trump doesn't like brown people." And, these conversations that I'm sure parents, you have 2 kids, are having, all over the country.
Yeah, and like, find me one child who would say something even similar to their parent if Kamala had won. Like what? Like honestly, there would be, unless you were a bad person, but you wouldn't. A 6-year-old wouldn't be like, "Kamala won, Daddy. Are they gonna kill me?" Oh, no one would say that. But the point about kids and me having them, my kids, their first question, both of them asked me, was, "Do you have to leave the country?" Because that's what people have been saying about my mom. And when they went to school, I told you this, I think. I told them because they were going to be asked, and I told them, anybody who asks you that, you tell them to F off. And they did. And I said, if the principal gets upset, you send them to me. But they did. My daughter was like, I had to tell at least 2 kids at lunch to F off. No, my mom's not leaving. And then she was like, "But are we?" Like, honestly.
Only you are like, "Mommy is so proud." Children of the future. How many kids do you tell to F off today?
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them.
Yes, are there really going to be enough used for these next 4 years? I don't know. You wrote this great piece about, and this is how, Joe, I was telling you, I've tried to get to all of my tweets and emails, but I've never gotten this much because, and you went to it, you said, does anyone else feel isolated right now, lonely, alone? You said it clings to me like a shadow at the grocery store, at the school pickup line, at my daughter's soccer game. How many of them voted for him? This is what we keep saying, Joe. This is not like normal politics, like, oh, we just had a fight about taxes and we lost. This is about basic decency and go ahead.
Humanity. Yeah, humanity, and that's the thing too. Is like especially at her soccer game. I'm looking around at these people, and I'm like, I know you. You're not a bad person. How could you have voted for this? But this is a rapist. We're talking about someone who brags about grabbing women by the genitals, someone who calls women dogs, someone who calls people vermin, and says the immigrants, by the way, all over my town are poisoning the blood of this country. Like, how do you separate that? I fundamentally don't understand it.
Yeah, and them saying, oh, it's, people that had zero empathy for anybody else, they're like, oh, okay, can't you just be nice now and unite with us? It's like, no, once again, you. As you write, you said, I know I'm not losing my mind, but they completely lost theirs. He's a truly terrible person, lacking a single redeemable quality so far as I can tell. And you just said, if it's not abundantly clear that dead golfer himself is in the throes of some kind of decompensation that pairs especially poorly with having access to the nuclear codes, I don't know what the hell is. He's literally everything I tell my kids not to be.
Yeah. And somehow they're like, yeah, but at least that's better because then we didn't really know what Kamala was about. It's like,
right.
What? Like, I know I'll take the guy I would never let drive my kid literally anywhere. I wouldn't let babysit. I wouldn't let be near her. If I saw him in the cereal aisle at the grocery store, I would drop the Cocoa Puffs and run. But that's the guy that they picked because, well, they just don't know about Kamala's stance on fracking. It's like, what? First of all, I don't buy that.
So you were saying, you were going on record as saying you were not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You would abandon them in the cereal. Okay. You said the answer I personally hear most often: the economy, inflation, the price of eggs. You said, yes, eggs are good, but they're not. They're not. Hand my democracy over to a rapist bully who's up to his beady Adderall eyeballs and Russian compromise good. Someone else said that. I didn't know we like eggs that much. I mean, it's really. But I mean, really? Also, it's not true. Inflation is back down to where it was pre-pandemic. It's like, and as Kamala was the only one to point out, it's corporate greed. It's greedflation. It's not, and again, we've done better than any other country in the world on it. So, go ahead.
Yeah, and his plan, the concept of a plan, is non-existent, by the way. And because nobody understood what tariffs were, they just made their lives $4,000 a year at minimum more expensive. Yep. And that guy also wants to give the rich more tax cuts so that we don't benefit what they do.
Yeah. And this whole they people, he's like me. He's not like anyone. Are you kidding me? I mean, in him and Elon Musk, you're like, Democrats need to learn how to talk more like normal people. They're normal people. They're the weirdest mother I've ever seen in my life. Don't even get me started.
Not to mention, one of them is like one of the richest dudes on the planet, and according to Tim Snyder, anyway, works for the richest dude on the planet in Putin. And the other one says he's one of the richest people, but he's not. But these are the everyman guys. Like
JD Vance doesn't even know how to order a donut, and you're telling me that these Democrats are the ones that don't know how to talk to like real people. I can't with all the analysis. Let me just read the end of your piece. You said, you want me to believe that you voted for a guy who had 4 years to pass an infrastructure bill and didn't, the guy who promised Mexico would pay for the wall and they didn't, the guy who promised to bring manufacturing home, lower the cost of prescription drugs, end the opioid crisis, but didn't because you preferred his policies? Again, you nailed it in this, Joe. You said your vote wasn't about any of that. You voted for the traitorous embodiment of the 7 deadly sins because when it came to casting your ballot for a black woman, you just couldn't do it. And because you like getting away with being your worst self, and because life is a whole lot easier to stomach with all that's gone wrong for you, it's someone else's fault. That's exactly it. It's always the brown people. Mm-hmm. You said, I'm mad that being a woman in this country is more disqualifying than being a felon. And then God bless you ended by saying, I won't give up. I don't know who the hell more than half the country is right now, but I know who I am. And you talked about your daughter, which is so cute. By the way, she's adorable. I've seen your pictures. You said, my daughter's a firework that hasn't yet had her chance to streak across the sky, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let anyone stop her from being able to light up the night and dazzle the world. I believe in my little girl. I believe in my son. I believe in us. I believe in America. So if it's okay, my little family will need to hold your hands, and maybe you can hold on to ours too. No matter what, we won't ever let go. Deal? Deal, JoJo. We talked about this on the phone. We're just all going to need each other more than ever now. I mean, that little girl that's scared that they're going to kill her, the kids are going to get deported. I mean, there's a lot of people really scared.
Yeah, and you got me a little teary. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't think I've ever ugly cried on your show. But you brought up my daughter, and that's what
now's the time.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. So but like I've been trying. I feel like last week I felt like a balloon that like was like its string was kind of like ripped and it wasn't fully tethered to the ground, and I was just kind of like twisting around going, what the hell, where are my feet, like what do I do, like I don't. And then I saw an old friend from college last night, and it felt like somebody put their arms around me and pulled me back down to earth and put my feet back on the ground. And what I realized that what was it that did it was that human connection, right? Like we're all really 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 looking for each other right now more than ever because we're scared and because we don't know what's coming, and it feels like, and it likely will be very dark, maybe endlessly dark feeling for a while, and then it feels like we have to traverse this like tightrope over this pit of poisonous snakes in this endless black. And what we don't want to do is have to face that alone, right? So like right now, all I want in all the world is to really keep those connections and really make those connections as deep and sustaining as possible, because it's going to get rough out there and we're going to need each other. We're going to need each other more than ever. And see, that goes the ugly cry.
Aww.
But we do.
No, I was telling you one of the saddest tweets is someone tweeted, "Stop telling your daughters they can be anything they want. They can be president when they grow up. They can't." I mean, I hope that's not true forever, but it forgive us if we've all had a big bowl of carnation instant bitch women in this country right at this particular moment. Big bowl of bitch.
Yeah. I refuse to let that be what my daughter learns from the universe, right? I'm choosing in this moment. Like I wrote this on my Blue Sky, by the way, Blue Sky friends. It's like Twitter, but like for sane people and nice, and there's DMs over there too. And I just said the world keeps trying to tell her to stay down and whisper, and I'm teaching her to stand up and yell. And right now, every little girl in this country, that 6-year-old, my daughter, every girl, every woman of every age needs to understand that in this moment, they want nothing more than for us to be quiet and to comply. And we have to stand up and scream out loud. We will not. We are going to forge our own path forward, God damn it. You can't keep us down, and we're not going to let you.
I want to sing I Am Woman. I want to sing I'm Every Woman. I want to sing. Except that's not true right at this moment. But my point is, someday.
The rest of the world. Not here.
I loved
England had Margaret Thatcher a million years ago, but not here.
I loved your tweet. You said, MAGA, we won everything. We are the champions of the world. No one can touch us. Your body, my choice. Cry harder, libs. Also MAGA. Is Kamala drinking wine while playing Connect 4 with children? And you said, you weirdos. And you said,
pick a mother that doesn't do that.
So yes, someone said, what kind of, who drinks while playing games with kids? And you're like, literally every mom I know.
Abby, she goes, I showed her that. She goes, wait, there are moms who don't drink? Like, that's our Christmas. It's Christmas.
As Nicole Wallace calls it, her mommy medicine, her mommy juice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ay. All right. Hey, we have the JoJo for the hour and then the Filthy podcast. 18 minutes after the hour, this portion of the show. You're one of the first people I thought of yesterday. All our beloveds that are, our regulars on the show, Doc. I thought of you. And you wrote some beautiful stuff as well. So just talk to us about how you're feeling day 2.
Well, I literally was shocked. I totally was caught off guard, not expecting Donald J. Trump and the people that he's bringing into government to prevail on Tuesday night. So it was the unfolding of a kind of a slow-mo nightmare. And, at the moment when it looked like this was not going to go well, I started thinking about what the hell are we going to do about it, similar to what Rebecca was saying. And I think paralysis at a time like this is the wrong move. And I said we had a couple of grandchildren over, and although they weren't there as late as to really see what was happening, but, the next morning you wake up, and the thing that was amazing to me, Steph, is that it wasn't just the winning of the Electoral College vote. He dominated, actually, in the popular vote, which says something to us pretty profound about the state of Americans. It's like, my gas prices were $3.55 a gallon yesterday, so I think I'll just end democracy. I had people say to me, we got all these migrant families in New York now. We have no place to put them. One of my son's soccer fields on Randall's Island has become a camp for migrants. So why don't we just end democracy?
Yeah.
And bring a misfit, deranged autocrat.
You to all the Republicans currently posting about Veterans Day after they put a 5-time draft dodger who mocked McCain, insulted a Gold Star family, and called our fallen war heroes suckers and losers back in the office he tried to steal. Thank you. A hearty you. Sorry. I'm sorry. What now? Okay.
You like that, don't you?
Oh, you're a silver lining girl. You also said the world is inside out, upside down, and on fire. But at least Carrie Lake lost again.
Yeah. Lucy McLoserton.
Yeah, from Losertown. Exactly.
We got to take our wins where we can. She can go back to vacuuming for Trump now. She can be the secretary of vacuuming and blowjobs. Sorry.
Oh, No, you can't say that. You have to save that for the potty mouth podcast.
Oopsie.
You can't say.
I was bad. Wrong job. Sorry.
Jobs. You can't say that. You BJs.
Yeah.
BJs.
Okay.
Yeah, vacuuming and BJs. Either way, she sucks.
This is why JoJo from Jersey cannot be contained. We're going to go so Jersey in this happy hour podcast we're doing right after the show, and then even Jerseyer. Okay. We were just saying, we were like venting too. Like, it's driving Jody and I crazy too. Like, all the Democrats turning on each other and all these hot takes. It's just I'm like, stop doing Russia's work. That's what they want, is us to, be fighting each other now. And, Bernie saying we're not the party of working people. And I don't know. Whatever. Oh, what is it? James Carville said, she lost because of the one answer that she gave on The View. And yeah. I don't know,
right.
And yeah, Pelosi said Biden didn't get out soon enough, and we were saying Lindy Lee, who we were really disappointed in. We did, Philly Sexy Liberal together, and she's on Fox News, stabbing, I think, Biden and Harris in the back. And I'm like, do you want to be the Fox News liberal now that beats up Democrats for them? Like everyone's looking for their niche and their, who to blame and all that stuff, and it's just making me crazy, Joe.
Yeah, and I think it's not helpful at all, right? Like in this moment, like we have this little window where we need to be gearing up. Like we need to be more unified than ever. There cannot be any daylight in between any of us right now. We need everybody in the tent right now to get together and get their acts together and focus on the fight ahead, not on fighting and firing on each other. Like this circular firing squad nonsense is it's just not helpful. It's distracting and it's divisive. And like we're supposed to be the party that's not divisive, right? Yeah. But we should be learning from what just happened. We should be taking away those lessons and using them to regroup and gear up to fight. And like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to point the finger and blame at the people within my own party. And there's plenty of blame to go around. I'm going to look for the lessons for how we can improve. And I'm going to keep punching those idiots in the face. And like, hi, white women who voted for Trump. I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
I can call you out on that because you're going to come looking to me for answers when stuff is really, really bad. And I'm going to say, look within. You have a mirror, hold it up and look at yourself. And then say, I better not do that again. And then listen to the rest of us, please.
Well, and I keep saying, it's disinformation because, Jamie Harrison made a point of, talking, responding to Bernie saying, look at all of the things the Biden-Harris administration passed, all to benefit the working people, like on and on and on. Lowest job rate in history. You can CHIPS Act, infrastructure. I'm going to forget all of them. There's so much, and so I get that messaging didn't get through because Trump won on complete lies. That Haitians are eating your pets. That they're doing trans surgery on your kids. What else am I missing? Yeah,
It's true,
migrants
that's
took
lies.
illegal immigrants took all your FEMA money. Like, it just all of this stuff. They're all lies. So that to me is the biggest problem. It's not even the economy. It's people's perception of the economy from lies.
And why they're predisposed to not believing us when we tell them the truth, because there's a problem there too, right? Like they don't trust the messengers we're sending out there. They don't trust the sources. They don't trust the voices. They also feel put upon. There's a million trillion things we can look to be like, why did he get more votes? How could he possibly win the popular vote? And there's a whole litany of reasons for why. And ultimately we have to listen to those and we have to look at those. We have to take them seriously. You're not going to take those seriously if you're punching each other in the,
Yeah. Let's look at why, however many million.
Hi, I'm incredibly popular and charismatic Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And hell yeah, I'm mad! The woke mob wants to lie about my really useful new law. They call it Don't Say Gay. Well, I'm here to say, don't say gay. Have you read it? Have you actually read my law? Have you read it? Because I'm going to be president. Yeah, I am. I'm so going to be president, and none of you can stop me, okay? The only thing this very effective law does is ban any discussions of the gays and the transgenderisms with kids grades kindergarten through 3. And that's it. Of course you can still say gay. It's preposterous. You can say gay. It just allows any patriot to sue the living crap out of your school district if they don't like it. It's not censorship, folks, if they're censoring themselves. And I'm going to be president. I'm the smart Trump. Some of you are wondering, does this law keep grades 4 through 12 teachers from saying gay? That depends on what your definition of "or" is. Classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3 or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. What state standards are those? I don't know! Fuck around and find out! If you don't like my law, you're a groomer! And a pedophile, and a pedo-groomer. And that's what small government's all about. Just make me president already. I am not supposed to be a governor. Parents, you don't want your kids learning about gay sex at schools, do you? Learning about the kink and fetish community? You want some woke public school teacher makes $40K a year teaching your kids about dom-sub relationships or safe words or hard limits? Parents, do you want your little child at school to be learning about edging and lube and glory holes? I don't think you do. And what about cock and ball torture? What if little Jimmy has a book report on older married men who are secretly into BDSM lifestyles? You want him talking to your school librarian about cock and ball torture? You have any books that can help me? Oh, I have one right here. Is that what you want? You don't want that. That's why I did this for you. Now, any nutjob can sue any school, anytime, for any reason. And who picks up the tab? You, the Florida taxpayer. This law doesn't hurt any children. It only hurts you. And if anyone asks, you tell them you fell. Listen, y'all don't want your kids being taught about sex in the public schools. That's a liberal plot. Parents should teach their children about sex, or don't teach them anything about sex. Let them grow up and bury that confusion regardless of what acting out it leads to later in adult life. I turned out fine, and I never learned a thing about sex from my mother. Look, I don't have time for any of this, okay? I've got math textbooks to ban. I've got majority black voting districts to destroy. I got 77,000 Disney employees who vote in this piece of crap state that I have to piss off. So don't believe the lies of the liberal woke mob. You can still say gay. Go ahead. Say it. I'm not going to stop you. Say gay. Say gay sex. You can say it. Say hot, sweaty, smelly, musky, dominating, top, bottom, switch, reversible, sissy, femboy, uncut, power top, raw, bareback, action. Let me hear you say it. You want to say it. Let me hear you say it. Say man-to-man action. Just say it. Just let me be president already. Can't you see? I'm already biologically a president. trapped in a governor's body. This isn't who I really am. I'm Ron DeSantis. And just let me transition the president.
That during the break that I was defending Glenn Kirshner yesterday. People going, "Oh, he was wrong." It's like we're not in any legal universe any legal expert recognizes. I mean, the Supreme Court has basically agreed with Nixon now that if the president does it, it isn't illegal. I mean, we were founded as a nation that no one's above the law. So that's wherever that is now. And absolutely, I keep saying, Joe, he won't need evidence or crimes to go after people this time.
Right.
No, and by the way, I know you played that clip earlier too about how he didn't go after Hillary Clinton when he said he would. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. It's, again, because we were back then, at least in a universe where you needed some kind of evidence or some kind of crime, and even Jeff Sessions is like, what are we going to prosecute her for?
What are we charging her for?
Yeah. Like Jeff Sessions went back into the Keebler Elves house and he was looking for anything he could find, and he was like, I don't have anything, sorry. But honestly, and of all, like imagine those sweet innocent old days where Jeff Sessions was like a patriot because he was like, I just can't break America.
Do you have any evidence? No, but I have some pecan sandies. Okay, one more, Jim Jordan, just because we always hurt the ones we love.
I think he's going to get rid of this crazy inflation that's hurting middle class and working class families, hurting our economy. I think he's going to get back to common sense energy policy. I think he's going to focus on protecting the First Amendment. Think about this. Did you ever think you would see Donald Trump, Elon Musk, RFK Jr., and Tulsi Gabbard on the same team? They were on the same team because because of the attack on free speech, the attack on the First Amendment. He's going to focus on those things that the American people elected him to do.
Okay. I mean, there are a lot of, I want to move on to immigration. There are a lot of things that you just said that I think aren't totally fact-based. They say that they're for free speech, but there are a lot of things that we know are not happening.
She tried.
Oh, like you said, Joe, it's like literally the worst people in the world. Like seriously, dead brainworm guy probably could be head of HHS. Like it's just the puppy killer is the head of Homeland Security. I just can't.
We're still waiting for the Tulsi Gabbard shoe to drop. What is she going to be in charge of? Like honestly, like what are we going to put Cruella DeVille in charge of? I want to know. Like adoption. I don't know. Like,
Baby Goebbels, of course.
There you go.
Stephen Miller is in. Yeah. Oh, Lord God. Okay. So we were talking about the whole, oh, by the way, what are we calling that? Just bad takes, but worst takes on the election? I mean, everybody's got a take, right? But you're right. Yeah. It's just like you keep saying, the circular firing squad is just not helpful. I get that everyone's trying to, avoid blame or protect their legacy or whatever they're trying to do, right? But as Lawrence O'Donnell said, first of all, he didn't win big. He will probably, when the votes are counted, we still have millions here in California, Joe. He'll have won by 1.5%. So let's stop beating ourselves up. We do have to figure out, obviously, some stuff. And I keep saying a lot of it is just the disinformation. I hope Democrats finally wake up and fund progressive infrastructure because we're way outnumbered by the Fox Newses and the right-wing radio stations and the right-wing podcasts, as you know.
Oh, 1,000 trillion bazillion % that. Like it's just and there's a problem in terms of, first of all, like, how lies travel around the world faster than the truth can get their pants on. That is just a fundamental fact. And like that's what you're kind of up against because, when you're not beholden to any set of truth or facts, you could basically tell anybody anything. And if you want to fearmonger, which is very powerful, it's going to go faster and travel further. And you go to a restaurant and you have a good experience and you might tell 2 people. If you go to a restaurant and you have a bad experience, you're going to tell 10, right? Like this is what we're up against. So it's that, but it's also, like you said, the progressive infrastructure in place. We need to look at this and learn lessons about where people are receiving information, where they're receptive to information, where they don't feel talked down to, where they feel engaged. And that's like not what we're doing just yet. And so we have to work on that. We have all the
who talks down to people more than Donald Trump? He called Mexicans rapists and Puerto Ricans garbage and women dumb bitches and low IQ individuals. I mean, you've got Nick Fuentes, out there to the degree that little boys are saying to little girls in school, your body, my choice.
Yeah,
I mean,
but like you're right. And but what that does too, remember, is like what that does is that gives somebody else the position of power. So somebody else isn't those people. Somebody else isn't an immigrant. Somebody else isn't a Puerto Rican. Somebody else isn't something where they're like, oh, look at me up here. I'm in this lofty position of some sort of superiority just by my birthright. And that's what he gives them. And that's what we have to fight against.
Yeah. Well, this is Robert Garcia, who's a representative out here, just talking about the Latino issue.
Yeah, I mean, look, this obviously was a rough night for us nationally as it relates to the presidency. I'm proud of the vice president, the campaign she ran. There's a lot of work to do in the Latino community. I think myself, a lot of other Latinos across the country felt the vice president was going to win the Latino vote. I mean, she obviously did win it, but the fact that we lost, particularly amongst Latino men, so much support, I think is a challenge. And I think it's one that we have to work on.
You know, a lot of people, Joe, again, attribute that more to the misogyny problem, that sort of this alpha male bro, whatever you call that whole. But I mean, it is heartbreaking already. You know, when you have, Latino families being interviewed going, oh, well, they're not going to deport our relatives because because they're not criminals. And Thom Homan's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, he said we're going to deport people that are here legally if they're in a family with illegals. So,
Yep. And the children will be deported too because they're attached to the families because this is a national security threat. But the guy they just put in the White House had our nuclear secrets in his chandelier, bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is
I know
children.
you wanted to say or didn't
I
you?
did.
Yes.
I
Okay.
did. I'll say it later.
All right. All right.
But my kids are worried about their friends. They're worried about their friends.
Yeah. Representative Garcia, one more.
We have to be on the ground. We have to listen and have to recognize as a party that working class issues that appeal directly to people that are working out in the community, out across the country, we have got to do more to support that work and also do a much better job of messaging what we're actually doing. And so a lot of work there, but nonetheless, I'm proud of her and the campaign she ran.
This talking down to people, Joe, am I crazy? I don't perceive Joe Biden or Kamala Harris as people that talk down to people. I think she had 2 months, whatever it was, 90 days to, and this whole right-wing disinformation, it was too easy in 2 months. She didn't have the year and a half that Obama had to get to, the American people get to know her, yada, yada. But, they just were able to paint her as no scary black lady communist from San Francisco.
Yeah. Who doesn't care about you, who doesn't know you, who keeps changing her positions on everything, and she's not talking to you, she's not going where you consume information, she's not doing interviews, her interviews weren't good enough, she does an incredible debate that that she nails at every question, and everyone knows that. And what's the number one thing that people take out of it, good and bad? They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Yeah. That's what came out of that debate. Good and bad, but not bad enough to hurt him, obviously. So here we are.
Yeah. One more, Robert Garcia.
I personally talked to numerous community groups across the country, Nevada, Arizona, met with groups of Latino men, of undecided voters. And I think of the campaign, certainly the Harris campaign, myself included, many of us in Congress believe that the Latino vote were beginning to consolidate around Vice President Harris, and that was just not the case. Look, she still won, obviously, Latinas overwhelmingly. She won the Latino vote overall, but there's a lot of work to do with Latino men.
Yeah, I mean, again, as we keep pointing out, Joe, Lawrence O'Donnell was saying, like, we've had landslides. There's one right behind me, Goldwater Miller, Reagan, those were landslides. This is like 1.5 points. It's not a landslide. And like you say, it's not that we don't have reflection to do and, a lot of, again, when you say messaging, the problem to me is largely the mainstream media. They're so afraid of being called liberal that I think they go so far the other way that, suddenly you don't hear anything about Trump being too old, do you? I mean, it's just on and on. I mean, you would have to argue the media is kind of the one that ran Biden out of the race because his numbers, because you know what I was saying, Joe, was like everybody's right and everybody's wrong. Like Nancy Pelosi, whoever, like they were looking at the same numbers that, you know, at a 40% approval rating, he was never going to win. And thanks also to the media's ageism. But my point is, like, she outperformed that. She got 48%. So she did do better. Those numbers they were looking at. But again, like, she couldn't win. You know, she had the shortest runway in history. And I'm sorry, did run a fantastic campaign, but you know, like you said, there's so many. It was a perfect storm. There were too many factors.
Yeah, and you know, she was really up against the machinery that was already in place and running, and that she had to sort of come in the middle of. And there's lots of people who can look at other people, and lots of questions we can ask ourselves, like, would it have been better if it was Biden or whatever? I don't see a lot of futility in running those kinds of hypotheticals, because we're here now, right? So we have the results. Let's work with what we have. It's not a mandate. We need to remember that. We need to remember that there's tens of millions of people out there who did not want this. There's also tens of millions of people who voted for that because they really didn't understand what they were voting for, and they just thought, I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like what I think I'm feeling, even though I'm not sure I'm feeling it. So I want to vote for something different. Like the people who split the tickets in state after state after state, voted for AOC and voted for Trump, voted for Gallego and voted for Trump, voted for the ballot initiative in Florida and voted for Trump. We see this all over this country right now, where people are like, I just don't know if I like what I'm seeing and I don't understand it. So I'm going to just go with my gut. I'm going to go with vibes. And like, they just don't realize that they're going to learn.
Yeah.
And
And by the way,
what they voted for.
Joe, what we've been talking about, off air, on and off all morning as well, is tell me disinformation isn't a problem when all of the Google searches the day after the election were, what's a tariff? Can I change can I take my vote back? Did Biden drop out? What's the other one?
Those are the main three.
Trump abortion ban. Like, they think Biden is responsible for Dobbs. Yeah.
I mean, tell me that disinformation isn't a huge... And by the way, I guess we just don't talk about Russia anymore because it was so out in the open this time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the obvious Russian interference this time. They don't even they pay right-wing, traitors here to put out this same disinformation and then, phone in bomb threats in black areas, right?
Exactly. 100% exactly. And I think we've gone so far over the shark now that, like, these things, this is what scares me, because when you start that slide, right, it's really hard to pull it back because people are so far down now. We're down like a million trillion stories, and we're so far over the shark now where something like Russia meddling in our election is like...
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. By the way, and you said that really it is just the worst humans in the world are going to be in charge now. I love that the whole Nick Fuentes... And by the way, we said do not dox anyone.
No,
we're not
it's bad.
for that. That
good.
can come
good.
around to all of us, and that's a really bad road to go down. But again, a lot of women feel very threatened by his level of misogyny. And I love this. Who came to his defense? Tristan Tate. He and his brother Andrew are under house arrest in Romania and charged with rape and human trafficking. Literally, the pettiest humans in the world are all like on the same side at this point. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Andrew Tate will probably be like the Surgeon General. They'll be like, Trump will be like, yeah, you want to be in charge of that? You can do that. You get to rape and pillage, whatever you want to do. And by the way, like Nick Fuentes, the closest he's ever been to making a decision about a woman's body was in his mommy's basement when he was playing The Sims and doing what. Like come on, Nick, let's be real here. You're not nobody's choice. You're not making anybody's choice.
We'll get into that in more detail in the Happy Hour podcast. Just a few minutes.
Yes.
All right.
Girls Gone Wild.
I believe you said the word. Nick Fuentes is pulling his, which is funny because it's short for pudding, but it's just a funnier word for Okay. All right.
Can I say a little smoky? Can I say a little smoky on here? He's pulling his little smoky.
All right, you just settle down.
Sorry.
47. Got 10 more minutes to contain yourself, and then you can go crazy.
I can do it.
47. You're right. I do need a tissue.
Do you want me to go get you one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Hi, Dana.
I just realized I don't have my water near me, and someone told me if you drink water and you can't cry and drink water at the same time, and I'm like, my water's too far away.
No, that didn't work either. Okay.
I've been in and out of tears as well, sweetheart. So it's gonna ebb and flow. Depends on what people ask me, honestly.
Yeah. Yes.
And other times I'm fine, and then someone's like, "What's your work schedule?" And then I lose it because I have to stand on stage tonight in front of a community that is scared, and I'm supposed to make them laugh and bring them solace. And
it's what we said. We're like yesterday.
Hard.
Nothing felt funny yesterday, right?
Yeah, it's definitely hard right now. So, but I'm going to go to work and I'm going to raise tens of thousands of dollars for healthcare for LGBTQ people tonight. And Saturday, I'll be in Chicago with the Human Rights Campaign to raise money because we have to start building our coalition. Assuming there's ever another election, we need to start building our coalition for the midterms because there's still good people that were elected in the states, and the cognitive dissonance in this country.
I know
I can't wrap my head around it, and I'm not going to try. But the states have some good senators that got reelected.
That's right. And to your point, you tweeted to any of my LGBTQ family who needs support, please save this photo and use the resources. There is help out there. I was felt in a dark place. I got to tell you, Dana, we're all scared. I was telling Chris that the guy that owns the show, he said, you are no less than third or fourth call from progressive radio host that said, is my show over?
Yeah.
Is my career over? Everybody's scared. You said no matter what happens, it saddens me deeply that rape, felonies, trying to overthrow our democracy, misogyny, racism, transphobia are somehow not deal breakers for tens of millions of Americans. That is the tough part. And, Dana, I opened the show because I know this is an issue that resonates with you, is I've had to hear Joe Scarborough go off on the trans people, not go off on them, but this is an issue. And I'm like, let's not bully them again. Let's not scapegoat trans people now. Like, he was going off on 85% of Americans don't think trans people should be able to play sports. And I'm like, okay, I'm not a parent. It feels maybe it's unfair or that's an issue we can talk about, but that's not what the issue was, Dana. The issue is disinformation and the lies that millions of Americans buy from Donald Trump, who actually believe they're performing trans surgery on kids in schools without your permission, and that they're doing trans surgery on illegal immigrants in prison. I mean,
and that's exactly it. Trans people have been around for since the beginning of time. They may not have had that word that we called trans people, or they identified as themselves as trans. But it's been around forever. I do some work with the Gill Foundation, who's trying really hard to reach across the aisle and work with Republicans who are still on the sane side of history. And how do we do this? And they tried it with the trans community before. There was the bathroom bills in North Carolina, and it got shut down. And unfortunately, they tried it again. And it worked this time. They figured out, if we talk about our little girls and our little girls in sports, people are going to start believing this. And it stuck. It's not a real threat. It's a discussion that needs to be had. There are trans athletes that should be able to participate. I know people have strong opinions about this, but this is not a threat to your democracy. And it's going to take everything I can not to get dumped on this show today, because on my other podcast I can curse. And so there's a lot of F words that have been coming out of my mouth, but I'm going to try and keep it together.
Oh, listen, our Patreon show and happy hour intros are littered with the obscenities we can't say all week. Dana, I was saying the other thing is that affects 0.00001% of the population. A trans kid playing sports. I mean, it's like, but the fact that you're right, they won on the messaging for this. But to me, it's because, listen, I would be against them performing trans surgery on my child in school without my permission. But that's not, it's not happening. It's the lies.
Happening.
It's the disinformation that I think is the hugest problem here.
I agree.
So you also said, congratulations, Sarah McBride, the first out trans woman in Congress. So damn proud of you. Yes, there are silver linings.
I've known Sarah for 15 years, and she started off working with the Human Rights Campaign as a volunteer and then a board of director, and then she ran for office in Delaware and was in the state legislature. I'm just so proud of her.
4 minutes after the hour. JoJo from Jers is here. Twitter star, rock star, social media, YouTube. And we're going to do the filthiest podcast ever recorded right after this show. That'll be today's Happy Hour podcast. Full of swears.
I'm starting to take my clothes off now, Steph. I'm just going to start.
Fantastic.
I wore gold for you.
So we were talking, you were saying during the break too about that. It just is so astounding that he ran to stay out of prison, and I guess it's going to work. I mean, it really, and I was defending the Glenn Kirschners of the world yesterday. People were like, oh, you're selling hopium, and he was wrong about it. Well, every legal analyst is wrong because we're a country that was founded on no one's above the law. Whoever saw a Supreme Court that would agree with Nixon and go, oh, you're right. If the president does it, it's not illegal. I mean,
and by the way, most people, even I would assume, a lot, some who voted for Trump don't actually want anybody in this country to be above the law because they've been recipients of the law in some way, shape, or form.
They would have been fine with the black lady being above the law, I'm sure. They would be all good with that.
Yeah. Oh, God. I mean, they could. Yeah. They put a convicted felon in the White House because they just couldn't bring themselves to vote for a lifetime public servant because she was a black woman. It was like what are we doing here? But no, if your kid did one thing that Trump has done, right, and he got, had to go through trials or court or whatever, you would not be like, Trump should get away with this. No, nobody should be above the law. Everybody fundamentally truly believes that. And if we want to get back to that in this country, I think that's the path forward. But abandoning that, everything falls apart.
Well, we're a nation of laws, not men. No, we're a nation of one man now. We're not a nation of laws. And so, I mean, Jack Smith filed a request to the federal courts to vacate all of the deadlines in Trump's D.C. criminal case, advise on next steps. He went on to say by December 2nd, he'll provide a status report on what the DOJ intends to do next. I mean, again, one of the things they were talking about is, they're going to haul him before Congress. I mean, Jeffrey Toobin made a good point. The interesting question is, what does Congress want with him? There's an implicit threat there. Anderson Cooper said, can he be jailed? We're asking these questions now, and Toobin said, as long as the rule of law exists in something like its current form, there's no way you can imprison Jack Smith. However, what you could do is call him to testify, and there I would say to Republicans, be careful what you ask for, because Jack Smith has a forum to talk about these cases. I doubt it would go so well for President Trump. I mean, Barb McQuaid is saying, at least get it out there on the record, all his crimes.
Before this is Orwell, before this is 1984, and then he controls the past, controls the future. Like, this is what we're looking at now, and they can get their levers on all of this stuff, and they did it with the Mueller report, when they can, make it look like they want it to look, all facts be damned and truth be damned. We have to hold on with both hands to every inch of the truth right now.
Yeah. A Washington Post opinion column sounded the alarm Friday after what she called a 5-alarm fire coming from the leading contender to become Trump's next AG. Mike Lee said the executive branch should be under the direction of the president.
No.
I mean, he said, and so it begins from a top contender for Trump's AG. Again, if inflation's your top issue, destroying central bank independence and putting the money supply in the hands of politicians should be a 5-alarm fire.
Every alarm was going off. I mean, honestly, like it looked like, it looked like some Mission Impossible or something. I think every alarm was blaring, saying, "Look, danger, danger," and everybody was like, "Eh."
All right, I'm bursting with swear words, and they are coming to you on the Happy Hour podcast, wherever you get your podcast today, with me, JoJo from Jers, and Spicy Jody. We love you, JoJo.
I'm bursting with something, Steph. I'm bursting.